rock stars, roadies, or groupies were harmed in the making of this broadcast. Giving it to you straight and no chaser. This is On the Rocks with Jamie Wilson. Hey, welcome to On the Rocks, man. I'm Jamie Wilson. We have a great show for you guys tonight. But of course, headline news, there are rumors, only rumors, that an impending lockdown is going to happen. So make sure you guys stock up. Make sure you guys stay home, stay safe. Make sure you're following all your safety protocols. And hey, man, make sure you stock up on booze because, man, if a lockdown gets declared, the booze is what's going to keep us sane. The booze and the music. And speaking of music, we've got some announcements from Offshore Music. Suspiria Pink's new album, Vices, is on all streaming platforms. So make sure you listen to this fantastic album by these crazy guys. And of course, we've got an announcement. Elisa Marie has an EP coming out called California Time, coming out this Friday on July 30th. And make sure, of course, guys, to please stay tuned for all the Offshore anniversary announcements. You just saw a new video coming out celebrating Offshore Music's anniversary coming up. We've got big plans for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned to all the social media pages of Offshore Music. Make sure to follow Suspiria Pink and Elisa Marie and all the Offshore artists as well. Now, I'd like to thank our wonderful friends from Buenos, Panaderia and Misty Mountain Cafe. It's the best combination you're ever going to have. The Misty Mountain Cafe premium coffee. The Cordillera Gold specifically is fantastic. And if you pair that with Buenos Dias Panaderia's Milo buns or the espresso buns, dude, it's heaven, pare. And of course, an announcement from our friends from Liquor.PH. It's the last call for the best American spirits at Liquor.PH. Their 4th of July sale ends this weekend, so make sure to get your bottles now. Like I'm enjoying my bottle of Wild Turkey 81, baby. Yeah, it's a classic American bourbon whiskey, and it's keeping me nice and warm tonight. You can enjoy 35% off on bundles and 15% off on individual bottles when you order the best liquor from the US of A from Liquor.PH. And of course, it's free delivery within Metro Manila. So tonight we've got a great band. I must admit, I discovered them late. I've heard their name being tossed around, and I had the good fortune during this pandemic, this quarantine, of catching them live at the Top of the Glow for a live set of their music, and it was a fantastic time. Really, not only just to watch live music, but these guys are fantastic. They confuse the hell out of me because when you Google them, they're labeled as jazz. But I swear, I hear so many influences in their music, and their album, Experience Mo Na Ba, is out from Offshore Music, and it's out on all the streaming platforms. And I've been listening to it heavily for the past few days, and these guys are just brilliant. So without further ado, let's bring the guys on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the JR Oca Experience.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Harold? What's up, Jazz?
Yo, what's up?
Hi.
Good evening.
What's up?
Hey, cheers, brother. Cheers. There
Cheers.
we go. Cheers.
Indeed. Cheers
JR,
indeed.
nakamute ka, JR.
Nakamute si Kuya J.
Ayan.
Kuya JR.
Hi.
So we can ay,
Give me some
sayang.
more. Yeah.
So JR, kung nakamute ka, we can talk about you the whole night. React ka lang ng react para wala kang masasabi. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Cheers,
And
cheers.
I'm just loving your album right now. But before we get into the
Thank you.
specifics, I wanna, I know we saw each other at the top of the glow, at your live set. But I want to find out from you guys, how are you guys doing during this pandemic? It's been a long, long pandemic. More than a year. So, kamusta naman tayo dyan? Harold, how are you doing, pare?
Well, doing lots of things. Parang parang akong ilog na Marikina. Sa taga Marikina ako. I'm just going with the flow. Barely surviving naman, thankfully, and just experimenting. I think this is a time na basta hindi naman tayo nagugutom at we're blessed enough to eat. I think it's a perfect time to experiment kasi yung buong mundo rin naman ay limbo mode, right? So I've been trying out lots of things.
What do you mean by experimenting? Are you experimenting like sexually? Are you experimenting?
Yun
Yeah,
talaga
be
agad.
specific.
Woo!
Yun talaga agad.
Woo!
Diba?
Getting down to the nitty gritty all
I
at
mean,
once.
hey, you gotta be specific, pare.
But you're right. No, not sexually.
Well,
Well, because experimenting with daily routines and experimenting with, especially with my playing, kasi nakakulong lang ako sa kwarto buong araw with my keyboard, with my instruments here, and experimenting ano ba yung mga pwedeng, ano ba yung hindi ko pa ginagawa sa live, or yung wala naman kasing audience ngayon. So really getting in touch and really getting really personal with my instruments and with yung mga listenings ko, sobrang iba na ngayon. Sobrang I'm widening my perspectives para lang out of comfort zone, and there's comfort sa paglabas sa comfort zone din, I think. That makes sense.
I love your quotable quote. I'm getting really personal with my instrument.
With my instruments.
Right? And he plays an
Yeah.
organ.
very
And he
personal.
plays an organ.
An organ. Which
Because
organ?
an organ.
Which organ?
galing eh, galing eh, galing eh.
Harold,
one.
Galing
pare,
eh.
you can't write this shit, man. You
You
can't
tell
write
me,
this
man.
shit.
You
It's
tell me.
perfect. Ikaw naman, Jazz, kamusta ka during the quarantine? Malakas sa ulan doon, ha? Sa Cavite?
Medyo R-rated din kay Harold eh. Sa wholesome side naman tayo.
Nako.
Yeah, so for the longest time I've been stuck in QC. I stayed in an apartment, and then my housemates, my flatmates left around February of last year, so I've been living alone in that flat until June. And then I came back home. Now I'm in Cavite living with my parents again. I came back home. So yun. Ang sarap gumising nang may naririnig kang umiiyak na bata. Yung mga pamangkin ko nandito. So it's nice that I get to be with company again.
Well, it's nice to be with family.
There's never a dull moment.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's good to be with
This is
family.
the first time that I came home again, indefinitely. I'm kind of moved out, went independent around 2015, and then I was based in QC na for the longest time. So ngayon lang ulit ako mababalik. So the prodigal son returns.
Nice. It's so family is
It's
so
nice.
important.
It's a good feeling. Very. Right now,
family is so important, and especially now during the pandemic, when the pandemic started last year, when we were all just locked in our rooms, right, and we couldn't go out. Only then did we realize na parang wow, we need human interaction, and thank God for technology that we can actually do this.
Exactly.
Can you imagine if this happened in the 90s, pare? Wala. Mga Nokia natin, wala, pare. Walang
Oh
Zoom.
wow.
Beeper.
Yes, it's a different
Beeper
thing.
tayo, beeper.
But yeah,
Magpe-pager tayo.
going
Kumusta?
with that, yung
Call me
family,
naman.
the notion of family, it doesn't have to be by blood or anything. The people that you talk to every day, those are your family, the ones who are your tribe, your people.
Exactly.
Family is not restricted by blood, and
Yeah.
it should not be. It's a big word, and it's a big world. So family can mean anything and anybody in this day and
Yeah.
age. So yeah,
Yung
nasa
sa akin,
basically just enjoying it.
yung sa akin, we have three families. The family that you're born into, the family that you choose, and the family that chooses you.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's
Tatlo
beautiful.
yun eh.
That's beautiful.
Diba? Minsan you didn't
Hanep.
choose them, pero you got adopted. Tapos yung barkada mo, syempre, choice mo. Tapos yung family mo, wala kang choice
Right.
Wala kang choice.
Wala.
Wala kang choice.
Harold,
You're born
ika nga,
into it.
wala kang
No choice.
Wala kang no choice. Oh,
Wala kang no choice.
si Senior JR na yung nagsabi.
Uh,
Ayun na. Mismo, sir.
and what about you, JR? How are you doing during this pandemic?
Well, full-time musician ako for the longest time. I had to go back to work. Went back to family business, and my sound system business tulog. So wala akong rentals, and so yeah, I had to go back sa kailangan mag-umpisa uli sa um, um para kang na-reset uli yung buhay mo. And actually, I stopped nga playing the guitar for quite some time. Kasi dati, saytay lang ako, saytay. I mean, practice ka ng practice eh. Kasi ang dami mong tugtog eh.
Saytay.
Sa isang linggo, isipin mo ilang tugtog natin dati. Ngayon, wala. So parang, there was a time that siguro maraming musikero rin yung parang nawalan sila ng gana.
Oh,
Buti na lang nga yung wife ko nagsasabi, hoy, mag-gitara ka nga. So,
very good.
I only play the guitar when I have a gig. Ngayon I don't practice that much anymore. Kasi yun na nga eh. Pero kaya I was happy nung Top of the Glow. That was like one of the gigs may audience na sobrang
Yes.
sarap ng gig na yun.
Yes.
Sobra.
Yes, sir. Indeed.
I'm so glad.
Kakamiss.
I'm so glad I was able to catch that. And
Yeah,
I made it a point to really go and watch you guys. At JR,
Thank
hindi
you.
na mahalata na hindi ka nagpa-practice eh. Hindi halata, bro. Hindi halata. You could have fooled me. You fooled me, pare.
Pero alam niyo yun eh, mga musikero tayo, alam natin pag kinakalawang tayo eh. There's something
Yes.
different sa feel eh.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
iba eh. Parang,
Yeah.
parang ano ba? Parang ayaw niya sumunod sa gusto mo. Yung dali. Ba't mangyayari kasi siguro? But yun. You know what I'm saying? Naintindihan niyo. Because,
What's funny with this, when this pandemic hit and all of us sort of like had to repurpose ourselves or nag-reset yung mga buhay natin and all that, it really streamlined our focus on what we want to do and what we love doing. Like, for example, for me, when the pandemic hit, all my shows were canceled. I'm a theater actor. All my shows were canceled. I was supposed to direct some shows also, or everything was canceled, no? And I was thinking, wow, tapos na-label pa tayong non-essential. So yun yung pinakamahirap. Na-depress talaga ako kasi, wow, man, non-essential. So basically, yung buong buhay ko, baliwala. Kasi I've been doing this all my life, right? And then you realize that, I don't need an audience to sing because I'm a singer. I don't play an instrument, I sing. So I told myself that at least 1 hour a day I will set aside kasi wala naman tayong ginagawa. Siyempre, you're scrambling to try to make ends meet, you try to find work or repurpose yourself, di ba? I promised myself 1 hour a day, I'm gonna spend it singing. My phone will be off, no messages, no distractions. I'm just gonna put on a playlist and I'm gonna fucking sing. And you know what? That music really was the main thing that got me through the darkest days in the pandemic.
Mhm.
And you guys released an album, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
During the pandemic. And I think a lot of other artists also released an album during the pandemic, and I think that's fantastic because parang nag-zoom in tayo eh, na kailangan ko pa rin gawin to. You know what I mean? And thank God, JR, your wife is the one telling you to mag-gitara ka nga.
Yeah. Kasi, wala eh. Parang nang wala ka ng gana because of the situation. Pero ngayon na much better. Maraming musikero nagdaan sa ganung dark na wow, parang wala na. Kasi isipin mo from every week having gigs and from wala eh.
Oo.
And it's really
Tapos
especially
hindi
para
lang
sa
hindi lang siya wala tayong gig this week. Hindi natin alam kung kailan babalik.
Kailan?
Up to now.
Exactly.
We don't know.
Exactly.
Diba?
Yung eksena when the scene is coming back and everything else.
And the music scene, I think
causes great anxiety.
The music scene now, before the pandemic, of course, was greatly different from, when the music scene started exploding in the 90s. When there were so many bands playing and all that. And then we went from that to very niche. This is my opinion, no? To very niche uh, players or artists playing their music in very specific venues. Tapos nung nawala yung venue, kailangan natin mag-adapt na tumutugtog tayo sa harap ng webcam. Ang hirap, no?
It's different pag walang yung energy na re-release was walang audience. Parang
Oo,
iba eh.
pare.
Yes.
Iba
Yes.
talaga, iba
Wala
talaga.
wala ka nakukuha sa webcam.
Wala ka nababatuhan eh. Walang
Oo.
bumabalik sa'yo na
Walang
energy
bumabalik.
na
Correct.
wala eh.
And specifically, like, with you guys, you improvise a lot. And that is, I think, dependent on the energy of the room, the energy of the people in the room.
Yes.
So it must have hit you guys harder than, say, a traditional pop artist na plakado yung mga songs, di ba? You guys improvise a lot eh. So that must have been a big adjustment. Kaya nung tumugtog kayo sa Top of the Glow, that was your first live gig, no? Sa pandemic?
After, tama ba, guys?
Yeah.
First live gig nyo, no?
Yes.
Na may audience. Hindi
May
naman.
audience.
May audience.
With
May audience,
na-
pero we performed couple of ilang na online. Tama ba,
Oo.
guys?
Hindi, nag-ano pa
Nakapag
tayo sa
ano
may
tayo?
Fisher
Ay,
Mall.
Conspi.
sorry, hindi. Nakapag-ano
Yeah,
pa
yeah,
kami,
yeah.
nakapag-conspi pa kami.
So,
So,
paunti-unti.
Conspi
And
was the
nakapag,
first time.
kami,
Conspi was the first time.
after 12. After
After
12
12,
rin,
yeah.
saka after 12.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah,
yun,
so
grabe
those two
rin yun.
before that.
Grabe rin. Ang sarap
Yun
ng
yung
gig na yun.
after nung
Punong-puno
March
yung...
lockdown, yung pamatay ng momentum.
Yun. Tapos,
Yun.
after ng second dati na napaka-solid na naman nagig biglang pok, wala na naman.
Lockdown
Exactly.
ulit.
Second surge, gumanon. Lock, yun na
Exactly.
naman. So,
Well, it's very important to keep our spirits up. And I gotta say that listening to your album these past few days have kept my spirits up. Even though I'm confused
thanks.
because
Thank you.
you're
coming from
labeled
you, it means a lot.
Pare, you guys are labeled as jazz. So of course, if you're labeled as jazz, from what I saw live, okay, may expectations ako, di ba? So, when I was listening to your album, parang jazz, but ito ba yung jazz? Kasi wala akong alam sa jazz eh. Rock ako eh. So sabi ko, ito ba yung jazz? Bakit? Why does it feel like rock? Why does it feel like reggae? Why does it have pop?
Yeah.
So I think I'm assuming that with all these influences coming into these songs, and we're gonna discuss the songs, no? I think that's the whole experience in the JR Oca Experience, pare. Lahat ng mga influenza nyo pumapasok. Kasi like for example, my current song right now, the favorite. So well, this morning I had to run errands around, nag-grocery ako and all that. So lakas ng ulan dito sa Makati. So syempre, yung naka-loop sa playlist ko para good mood ako kasi hassle. Nagko-commute ako, wala akong kotse, lakas ng ulan, kailangan ko mag-grocery. So syempre yung soundtrack ko, the whole morning naka-loop lang yung Rap sa Doodle. Which is for you guys, if you guys don't know, you have to check this album out. It's called Na Experience Mo Na Ba? And it's on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. So this Rhapsodoodle is the third track in the album. And it was fantastic kasi puta unang linya pa lang pare. Sarap maligo sa ulan. At nasa ulan ako.
Yeah.
Nasa labas ako at umuulan. So sabi ko, pare ang sarap ng vibes nun. Ang sarap ng vibes ng Rhapsodoodle. Can you guys tell me how Rhapsodoodle happened? How do you guys write a song like this?
Okay, Rhapsodoodle, all of the songs here kasi is some I've written a long time ago.
Oh.
Rhapsodoodle, I wrote for my wife when kasi ito, the story was kabanda ko yung wife ko, naging kabanda ko yan eh. So we had a band called Diwata and I wanted to write a song na pwede naming dalawa kantahin, mag-duet kami. So I used to when I used to go to CCP, CCP, with the mga gardens there, and there was no light. There's no light. So what I did, I went to the vendo machine. Doon ako, yun yung ilaw, pinaka-ilaw ko. So doon ako nagsulat ng Rhapsodoodle. And the song is, parang it's a song kung paano ko sinabi yung feelings ko sa wife ko. Kaya para sa kanya talaga yan, actually.
Nice.
And siya rin yung nag-duet sa akin dyan. She was the girl who was singing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Fantastic.
why it's a song about love. in a love in a rainy day.
Yeah, and
Wow,
you know what?
wow.
And that's what I loved about it. It the emotion is so apparent. It's such a good vibe to listen to if you listen to it on a surface listening, right? But yeah, love on a rainy day is when love really counts. Not on a sunny
Yeah.
day, 'di ba? Not on a sunny day na
Indeed.
Namatay
parang,
yung
'di
Yes,
ba?
indeed.
cellphone.
Yes,
Yung mga
indeed.
What
ganun.
happened?
Oh, it's there. You're on. You're live. JR, we can see you. We can hear you. Oh, he froze. So anyway, that's what I love about this song is because love on a rainy day, and I love rainy
Yeah.
days. I really
Yeah.
love rainy
Damn.
days, whether you stay home or you go out if you want. But love
Mhm.
on a rainy day is when exactly you need that love, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Straight.
Exactly.
Ha-
Exactly.
Jazz,
Exactly.
Harold, did you guys played on the album, right?
Yes, yes, we did.
Just it. Yeah.
So how was it going into recording? How did you record this? Did you guys record it during
Um,
the pandemic or na-release lang to during the pandemic?
we recorded it during I think we recorded it during pandemic. Yes.
Wow.
Or before pandemic, I think. So matagal-tagal na rin. Um, we recorded this
Correct. Ah.
sa studio sa Offshore. Yeah, that's
Sa
where we
Crow's Nest.
recorded it. Yes, sa Crow's Nest, exactly. Um, Going into the studio, usually kasi nagkakaroon kami ng pre-prod when we write a song. So usually it's JR, me, and Miguel, our bass player,
Mm,
who
yeah.
is at work ngayon. Gelmi at ako yung
Get
kulang
me.
sintas. Oh my God.
Get me.
So we'll get to that later kung bakit kulang sintas yung title ng isang song sa album, if
Mm-mm.
ever that's there. Um, For me, when we were doing the songs, I tried my best to capture what the song needed the most during
Mhm.
pre-prods when we were still jamming the songs. Pag may maisip si JR na bagong kanta or bagong riff, or the old songs that he's written before, like this one, yung Rap sa Doodle.
Yeah.
And then pre-prod, something may mabubuo na kami. And then araw ng recording, pagpasok namin sa studio with input ni Produ, ni Boss Odds. Boss Odds, nagbabago pa rin siya even before, taking the whole track and whilst at the studio. Kasi, the songs are very spontaneous. The songs allow you to do what you have to offer and give you that space to put your influences in it and to have your own sound. And I think that's the beauty in being part of this project also. Kasi kinuha kami ni JR because of the things that we can do, not because he has a certain sound in mind.
Oh.
Right? He trusts in the ability of each player. Kaya ang daming tumugtog doon sa album na alam niya makaka-contribute ng flavor nila for the sounds, and I was fortunate enough to be one of them. So going into the studio and recording for the songs, it was a very fun process. Mas marami ata yung kulitan na nangyari than the actual taking, actual tracking ng songs. Definitely.
I'm sure
Definitely.
that can be
Kasi
confirmed by Audrey.
definitely mako-confirm 'yan with Produ, with Boss Odds.
Pero
Kasi
madalas,
nag-pre-prod na kami eh. Hmm.
madalas naman kasi ganun eh. I mean like, yung kulitan
Yeah,
will feed your next take eh. It will
Yeah.
feed your,
definitely.
pag take
Definitely.
na, you will take that kulitan into the take. You know what I mean?
Exactly. The inside jokes come out with what you're
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Oo.
From the
Oo.
previous conversation, you should take it with you while you track. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Mm.
as well, from when I saw you guys play live recently in Top of the Globe, you guys improvise a lot.
Yes.
So was it difficult to capture that spirit of improvisation in the studio?
Sorry.
Harold, let's go to you.
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, yan. Oh, you're back. Sayang, you're
Sorry.
back. We're talking about you and all your bad habits, pare. Linalaglag ka ni
Oo
Jazz
nga.
eh.
Nailaglag na
Putol
kita,
na
sir.
Ina.
So Harold, we're just talking, JR. We were talking about how it was in the recording process and all that. And my most recent question is, you guys improvise a lot in live. And how difficult was that when you actually had to go in and lay in and record your tracks? Did that spirit of improvisation, which I think is still very apparent in the recordings, how did you guys capture that?
Well, for me, I can't really say because I've been a part of the JR Oca Experience since early 2019. But on January 2020, umalis ako ng bansa. Yeah, so I had to go to a cruise because I need to make ends meet and blah, 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 blah. Had to be a cruise musician and stuff. Doon nila ni-record yun. So it's very interesting dahil...
So wala ka doon.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at the Spotify artists, there's my good friend Louis Tan who played the keys, and of course Master Henry Katindig.
Your
But
Henry.
pinag-uusapan din nga namin recently, and it's very interesting kasi when I came back as the keys player for the band, ang interesting pakinggan na, uy, this is the take of other people, and now I have to translate it live, but still be honest to my sound.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, because I mean, basically, when you play this song as interpreted by, like a maestro, like Mr. Katindig, you should be true to your sound because you have to play it the way you would play it.
Yeah, because even if I pretend to sound like Master Henry, I can't do that, right?
And
But I think that's
nor should you. Nor should you.
You did a good job, Harold. In ano naman. Ganda ng...
Thank you for the job.
Good job, sir. The above job and
So well done.
And there's the below job. Yan.
Exactly.
Yan ang masarap sa internet eh. Walang censorship, di ba? So
Yes,
Harold,
sir.
on a tangent, Harold, when you left in January to be a musician in the cruise ship, what music were you playing there? Tsaka, saan yung biyahe mo?
South America. Pero ang crazy nun kasi February ako nagsimula doon, and then March 14 came. So halos wala pa talaga akong 2 months dun sa contract na yun, and then I had to go back. Blah, 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 blah. So that was sad. But the genre of all kinds, jazz, rock, pop, Motown, disco, yes.
Hey,
typical cruise ships. Yeah.
Disco. A lot of people diss disco, and I was one of those people who did. But it's hard to play,
It's
disco
hard to play.
Hard to play.
Yes.
It's hard to.
Yes.
Because the root of disco is making people dance, and it's not easy to make people dance.
Yeah.
It's
And you have
hard,
you have to be so precise. That's what people like. Like people like me before who used to like not like disco. I had to embrace disco eventually because I did a play called Saturday Night Fever, so I had to, embrace disco.
Yes.
And the one thing I didn't realize was that these songs were created for the kind of dance that you wanted people to dance. So certain songs were created for swing, certain songs were created for what I mean, all these what we call ballroom dancing or disco dancing. So the precision in playing disco, you can't improvise with that, pare, because it's may talagang bilang yan eh.
Yeah.
Kung mag-improvise ka bigla, mawawala sila sa sayaw. So that's what I found very interesting about disco. So, maybe one of these days you'll do a disco tune via the JR Oca Experience.
Ooh.
That's going to be an interesting take. JR, I was asking them how you guys recorded in the studio.
Yeah.
How are you, since obviously you are the maestro here and the boss here in the band, how are you in the studio? Is he a tyrant, guys? Pag kung nasa live gig kayo, is he like, hindi, dapat ganito.
May latigo po yun eh. May latigo.
Hanep.
He has a rod
Na may
backstage
kuryente.
that he whips out.
Naka-leather boots siya.
Woo!
No, but I gotta say the way you when based on that performance in Top of the Glow, and I have to come back to that because it's so meaningful in terms of being able to. I've had a few acoustic gigs during this pandemic but you guys were the first ones I actually watched during this pandemic as audience. And it was a different experience because when you're going up on stage, you have to figure out, okay, what are we gonna do? Is the sound right? Should I wear my mask? Where's my beer? You're thinking about all those things. But as an audience member, I really enjoyed it because parang may ang ganda ng balance nyo ng loose and tight. There were some parts na you guys were nice and tight in the turnarounds. And then I once you'd come back, I'd see JR like looking at somebody laughing. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. And it's beautiful because you're seeing something very organic. JR, is that something that you envisioned for this group? Is this something
Oo
that
eh,
that you
kasi
imposed?
ako kasi yung tipong tao, gusto ko, talagang improvise eh. Kumbaga, sarapan lang talaga. Alam nila yan eh. Kumbaga, when we perform together, I always say na, basta masarap lang, sarapan lang. Kasi, yun eh. Pag, tas mag-e-enjoy ka eh. Sobrang sarap lalo na pagka napapaindak mo yung tao in your own, di ba, way, sarap eh. Saka yung mga ginagawa namin, hindi pare-parehas talaga. Unless mga original songs, we try to do the original, pero minsan dinadagdagan pa rin namin. Kasi, sabi nga, pati sa covers, if you wanna do covers, sabi nila either kopyahin mo ng plakado or ibahin mo. So, doon na lang kami sa ibahin namin.
And then of course
ganun
that cover that I saw all over YouTube was the Yano song Banal na Aso Santong Kabayo. Pucha na. I watched like 10 videos of you guys playing the same song and it's always different. And I think it's beautiful because when I first saw it and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a Yano song. Syempre may mga titles sa YouTube, di ba? So nung pinapanood ko, yung intro pa lang parang sigurado ba baka nagkamali lang yung nag-title ng video na to. 'Di ba? And these are audience shots, these are, you know what I mean, in at gigs, at your live gigs. And you really wouldn't know what the song was until you actually started singing, JR. And when you started singing, I'm like, pucha, paano mo linagay yung banal na aso doon sa intro na yon. And then you in all the videos I've watched of you guys playing this one cover, and there's a lot on YouTube, you never played it the same way twice, which I highly respect because when especially with your originals, right? If you're going to play your originals as recorded, what's the difference? I can just be at home listening to my Spotify. Diba? It's that live element of the things that you were adding, JR, that you were saying, that make it now, wow, they went there. Diba? And then, puta, bumalik sila. Hayop. Yan ang masarap.
Parang lagi may sorpresa. Yung, uy, biglang magugulat na lang.
At yung maganda doon, pati kayo nagugulat eh.
Yeah.
When I watch you guys at Top of the Glow, may mga gulat moments na parang, uy, hindi yan nakaplano, pero ang ganda. It's so beautifully organic the way it happens. Now, I want to talk about my the second song, actually the fourth song on your album, but it's something that I absolutely love. It's Pulang Sintas. That's a fucking, I'm a rock and blues aficionado. And it's amazing that guitar is so lagkit. That guitar line is so lagkit. And it really captures the emotion even before the vocals come in. And then yung mga changes niya, yung mga tadan, dyan pumapasok yung jazz, tapos babalik kayo sa blues. How did Pulang Sintas happen, guys?
First of all, thank you sa stud guitars. Yung gamit kong gitara.
Yun!
May commercial agad. Anyways.
Biglang sponsors.
Sa aking sponsor.
Ganda ng segue, pare. Ang ganda ng segue, bro.
Mismo pinang-record niya yung gitara na yan sa studio. On the track.
Sa source din.
At saka yung gitara ni Audrey, ni Produ.
Anyways.
Okay. Anyways, ganito, yung Pulang Sintas, meron na ako nasulat couple of years ago na lyrics pero hindi pa tapos. So, when we were making the album, just me and Miguel, our bass player, who's at work now kaya wala siya dito. We would if, kung Friday ang recording namin, we would always do recordings on Friday. And we would see each other on sorry, excuse me. See each other on Wednesday. We would pre-prod sa house ni Miguel. And then Pulang Sintas. Sabi ko sige, baka to pwede natin kasi we only had 2 songs eh. We needed 5. 2 lang nagawa, tapos yung iba hindi pa. So I said kailangan. So yun, we were starting to scribble and tapos ko na yung lyrics. Yung song na yan, actually, di ba yung lyrics, wag po muna. Dapat wag po kuya yun eh.
Yung reaction ni James.
I knew it.
Sabi ko na, yun talaga yun. But syempre, hindi mo pwede ano eh. Okay.
Yeah,
Bakit
you cannot.
So, yun talaga yun. It's a song about you having, you liking someone real bad na ayaw, wag mo akong tignan or wag mo ano yun, baka ako madapa sa'yo, maybe, or something. And bakit Pulang Sintas yung title? Pulang Sintas because si Miguel, yung bassist namin, sabi niya, gusto ko, nagbibiro siya, meron siyang sapatos na may red na laces. Sabi niya, gusto ko,
Yes, yung
may
chucks
pulang
niya.
sintas. Gusto ko meron pulang sintas tayong ano. O dito, gusto mo, ito, gawin natin title. Nagulat siya. Tinano namin, ginawa kong title. Kaya andun, Pulang Sintas.
Ayun.
Sa Pulang Sintas, ibabaling.
Tas ibabaling. Yes, sir.
Yun. And that's the story of Pulang Sintas. It's really it's a fun song to, napakasarap gawin. And sobrang enjoy ko rin yung song na yan. Pati yung solo ko dun parang pang kabaret, di ba? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the second time around. Diba? Pang ganun eh.
Ang lagkit, pare. Ang lagkit.
Sexy time eh. Sexy time yung song. Sexy time nyo rin.
So this is the sexy song.
Yeah.
Pero okay, so, that's, the Pulang Sintas, the title is like, wow, I did not expect that story to happen.
Yeah.
Because of Miguel's
Red shoelace.
Chuck Taylors ba yan? Chuck Taylors?
Yes, Chuck Taylor sa may
chucks
Pulang
niya,
Sintas.
yung chucks
Sinabi
niya,
lang niya eh.
red lace.
Sabi niya, basta gusto ko, nagbiro siya, basta gusto ko yung Pulang Sintas ko dito, nasa album natin. O di yung title nito, Pulang Sintas. So, linagay ko siya sa lyrics bigla. Last part, linagay ko siya.
Galing.
Linagay ko siya sa lyrics. So,
And then
that's
you go,
the story of that song.
and then of course, you released Puting Buhangin.
Yeah, Puting Buhangin is the Carrier single. Yun yung first namin nilabas sa single.
Oo. So what was that about naman?
Okay, Puting Buhangin actually the real meaning.
Well, you know what? You can bullshit your way through it. That's okay. We won't know the difference, pare.
Yeah, no. Well, Puting Buhangin is a song about parang release mo yung all of your problems and dahil sa dami nangyayari ngayong panahon na to.
Yes.
Sa dami ng yung pandemic and everything, parang ang sarap maglakad gaya ng ginagawa ni Prudu ngayon, maglakad sa Boracay or sa beach.
Tama.
And isigaw or itapon sa dagat lahat ng iyong problema. Kasi pansinin ninyo, when you're in the beach or kahit nasa mga basta lugar ka na may mga bundok or parang all of your problems nawawala when you see a very nice, yung magandang view and sobrang, that's Puting Buhangin. It's not about eksakto nung release namin yan, kalalabas lang ng yung Dolomite Beach siya.
Dolomite Beach.
Kaya nga eh. The title was so
Coincidentally,
the title was so misleading kasi parang, wow, are they doing a political song? And it's not.
No, it's not. It's not a political song. Yeah.
But then I think, that's why that vibe of the whole song, you're right. Like it would be hard to deal with the anxiety if you don't get a taste of nature, you know?
Yeah,
And
it's really nice.
even and nung naka-lockdown tayong lahat, nasa loob lang tayo ng kwarto or nasa loob ng bahay, hindi tayo makalabas, wala tayong magagandang views, 'di ba? I think
Yeah,
what the great impact of this song is that if I closed my eyes, pare naaamoy ko yung beach eh.
thanks. Yeah, yun
And
yun.
that's the best, you go back to your memories of when you're at the beach, you're with friends, you're with a girl, and you're just
Yeah.
and life is good. Yung ganon. Yan ang
Mm-hmm.
maganda, yan ang gustong-gusto ko sa Puting Buhayin kasi all I have to do is close my eyes and I'm there. That song takes me there.
Wow,
Now,
thank you.
yung trend naman, ano yung bawal na pag-ibig?
Okay.
Kasi ang dami kong na-imagine eh.
Okay, Trend is a song.
Inspired
Meron
by.
you are inspired by Cyrus Hudan. They're just kidding.
Yes, sirski.
Anyways, Trend is a song na simple lang. You have, may karelasyon ka na, then you meet someone and nagka-affair ka with
Yun.
someone else. And bandang uli, nagsisi ka. Kaya nga, in the last part of the lyrics, it's a song about na nagkagusto ka sa isang tao, nagka-affair ka sa isang tao, na meron kang, na meron ka ng kasintahan. So, kaya nga, di na pwede, di na maaari ang bawal na pag-ibig. So, the song means, wag sanang mangyari na gano'n.
Yes.
Pero sobrang naano siya dun sa tao, parang wow, 'di ba? Nababaliw siya sa tao, nalilito siya. Basta you know the stuff na ano.
Yeah,
And that always
pare.
happens.
That
That
happens.
happens especially to sa marurupok na musikero na makilala ko. Anyways, yeah, that's the song, Trend. Bakit Trend yung title? Eto na
Bakit
naman.
nga trend yung title?
Si Miguel na naman ang may kasalanan yan. Okay?
Of course.
Kasi,
Get me to the
sabi nga sa
rescue.
akin, bakit trend? Nasaan yung trend doon? Para ka nasa trend na hindi. Sabi ko yung bagsakan kasi, trend. Kaya naging trend siya. And that's it.
Ang priceless ng reaction.
Ayos ba? Galing, no? At least ang sarap, di ba, nag-reaction mo. And it's
Jamie
so-
got mind blown real quick.
Diba?
That was it. That was it. That's the
Kasi
moment.
iniisip ko, okay, you're falling for another girl, you're with another,
Yeah.
you're with your significant other, you're falling for another girl. It's like a train you can't get off.
That's
Dami
it.
pumasok sa utak ko. It's a train you can't get off. And then, a train only goes, hindi ka pwedeng, kumaliwa o kanan.
Umatras.
Diba? Dire-diretso lang yun. Hindi ka pwedeng umatras.
Tama.
Dire-diretso lang yung tren eh. Pero tangina, tren lang pala. Tangina pa. Shit.
Anticlimactic pero boom.
Diba?
When it hits you,
No,
man.
so okay, so yan na
When
lang
it
gawin
hits
natin.
you.
Yan na lang gawin natin press release, 'di ba? If you're
Yeah.
on the train
It's like
of
you're
love,
riding a train. Yeah.
if you're in the train of love, you don't go backwards, don't go left, don't go right, just go straight forward.
Just go
Yeah.
straight.
So tayo lang
This is good for the ride up.
Head to the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
tunnel.
Oy. Ohoy, Manuel.
At the dark tunnel.
Tayo lang makakalam. Tayo lang makakalam na
Yan.
trend pala yun.
Yeah.
And then
Ayos
Tunay.
ba? Oh,
And then Tunay.
Okay,
Tunay, I
Tunay.
love this song. It's a beautiful song. What?
Thank you very much.
Please tell me that this title means more than.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it means more. Okay, sige. Tunay. I wrote Tunay couple of years back also here in the house. It's a song na you in love or humahanga ka sa isang kabaro mo, like a singer sa isang banda.
Okay.
So that's the song Tunay. Kaya nga 'di ba yung lyrics and yun sinulat ko siya dito nga sa bahay. And it was supposed to be a reggae song which I was supposed to record with my I was with a famous reggae band before. I sang for them like 4 years. And ayun. So it was supposed to So ang 'di ba tanananan chak 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 that's tan tan tan
Oo.
tan chak chak
Oo.
chak chak dapat yun tanananan chak 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 chak. So ginawa
May
na
ibang
namin
version na yan sa live next time. Harold, alam mo na.
Hindi,
Ah,
wag natin i-reggae. Uy, ano ba kayo?
mangyayari yan. Hindi, wala na. Nasabi mo na eh.
Nasabi mo na eh.
Wag
Nasabi
naman
mo na.
reggae.
Wala na. Trend na yun. Yun na yun.
Anyways,
Trend na yun.
yun yung yun yung story nun. Isang sulyap lang galing sa'yo nang tumibok tong puso ko. Pagmamahal ang lumikha at gumawa ng himig na kay lamig, awit ng
Yun.
pag-ibig. Di ba? And yung last part na yun yung pinaka-last ko na nagawa. Yung ang hanap sang himig na malamig. Kasi kaya ako naman dinugtong yun, inisip ko, pag dumating yung araw, malay mo, mag-hit yung kanta. Para yung tao pwedeng kantin. O, kaya naman, ang hanap. Tapos papalakpak yung tao. Sang himig.
Pang sing-along.
Diba?
Pang sing-along.
Yun. Kaya sabi ko, dagdag natin yan para... So, yun. Yun.
It's a great,
Tungkol sa... Yeah.
if you take the album as a whole, it's a great selection of all your strengths. I think if you if you don't pluck out one song, I think it says a lot of the kind of band and the kind of sound that you're putting forth. And really, it's not. I find it very unfair, kasi that primarily these music search engines will label you as jazz. It's very. I find it very limiting. That's why I think it's kung na-experience mo na ba, should be under, I wouldn't know how to classify it basically, but I guess in this day and age you have to classify a certain kind of music. And I think when live gigs start coming back, I think tama nga si Harold dapat gawin yung reggae yan, tignan natin yung mangyayari 'di ba, yung tunay. Pwede niyong baliin yan. Pwede niyo, I mean, you guys do whatever the fuck you want to do anyway on stage. From what I seen, from what I've seen, we never know what to expect, and I think that's what keeps the experience fresh. Like for me, the next time I see you guys live, and you guys play these songs that I am now more familiar with, gusto ko rin ma-surprise, pare.
Yeah.
Diba? So I'm sure it's gonna get
Ako,
surprised.
madami
Before I go on to the next
kaming covers na pwedeng gawin na magugustuhan mo na OPM. May mga areglo kaming matutuwa ka.
Oh, yun. There we go. That's why nga we have to bring back live music.
We'll get there again.
We'll get there. I have faith because unti-unti meron na. Tapos konting atras lang tayo sa lockdown ulit para okay lahat. Tapos babalik din tayo eh. Let's do a few shout outs. There are a few people on the feed right now who want to say hi. Si James Gasmin.
Yo.
Love you guys.
James!
Diba? Love you guys. Si
yes.
Bashang Cruz says hello.
Athena!
Ay, Bashang!
Hi, Bashang!
Thank you.
Si
Magaling
Christine
na singer
says,
yan si Bashang.
Christine says, nothing beats watching live performances, especially
True
with
that,
Misty.
tita.
Christine!
Si China
thank
Salazar. Nag-hello from Novaliches.
Oh my God.
Ay,
Chai.
sakalap.
Yes, of course.
Hello
The one
po.
and
Tapos
only.
si Galen naman, sabi niya, lasing na. Ayan. Tama. Pati yung host,
no.
pati yung host lasing na. Cherry Malaya says hello. Actually, sabi nga ni Cherry.
Our marketing, yes.
Ayan.
Yes.
Oh, si Genevieve, Kuya Jazz, hello.
Hi.
Cherry,
Hi, Jazz.
hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mars.
And then, Sir Jack. Yeah, di ba, Christine? Yun ang tanong ko eh. Una, ano?
Sir Jaime,
you,
good evening po.
Am I gonna call you
Sir
Jack?
Jaime.
Jaime.
Magandang gabi po.
Si Eddie. Si Eddie, nag-request. Shout out daw. Shout out. Si Eddie.
Oy, si Mano. Please yan. Mano, please.
Sir, he's Mano. Siya yung roadie namin. Roadie namin yan. Si Manokis. Shout out to Sir Manokis.
Respect to the roadies, man. Respect to the roadies, pa.
Yeah. Sobrang love ko yan.
Sim yan.
Ayan, si Deborah. Hello,
Closers
Ang
sir.
podcast.
better half ni Mr. Harold Andre, si
Oh, hello.
Debbie.
Yun.
Hola.
Hello.
Hello, Debbie.
Isa Debbie.
Tapos,
Hola.
di ba may nagpapa-shoutout na birthday, Jazz?
Oh, birthday daw.
Meron, kay
Yes.
JR, if you would kindly.
Oh.
If you would kindly, Kuya
Ah,
JR.
okay, wait lang ha. Titignan ko yung ano. So, ay nawala yung kodigo ko.
Nasa
Nawala
chat,
yung
sir.
kodigo
Nasa
ko.
chat. Nasa chat.
Sabihin na
Nasa
Nandito
chat
ako
natin,
sa
ng
chat,
live.
sir. Wala eh.
Oh, sabihin na
Wala
natin,
eh.
Vanessa Mendoza, happy birthday.
Vanessa
Happy
Mendoza,
birthday.
happy birthday. Ano bang gusto
Happy
mong
birthday,
gift? Pakisabi lang po
Panengneng.
kay Jazz. Ayun.
Ala,
Ayop.
Oh.
Oh, bigyan natin ng regalo. Ay, ano ba to?
Oh.
Kumakanta yan,
Nice.
umaawit yan. Isang magaling na mga awit din yan. Sobra.
Ayan, si Ian. Oh, idol. Fafa idol. Yun, Fafa.
Ano yan? Nyor Jamie, ano yan? Drummer ni Tita Sampi yan. Ay, tama po. Halo
Uy.
rin kay
Wow.
Tita Sampi yan. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Hello. Hoping to get. So, okay, so talking about Sampaguita, di ba? And the Pinoy rock gods that we have, pare, we lost Wally.
Oh,
Di ba?
man.
Oh,
Man, that was a sad
Ah.
day. That was such a sad day.
Hanggang ngayon,
Um,
umiiyak pang ang langit. Di pa rin tumitigil.
Di ba? Di ba? And considering,
Man,
like Wally was such a not only a brilliant musician, and of course, we have to pay respect to our forefathers in Pinoy rock, because without them, pare, wala tayong eksena,
Wala tayo.
puro disco tayo, puro OPM tayo, wala tayong Pinoy rock, di ba? But the guy, I've had the good fortune of jamming with him a couple of times on stage. Hindi
Me
ako
too,
ma-picture, kaya wala akong picture with him eh.
Parehas tayo.
Pero yung nakakatawa sa kanya is parang he didn't really know me. A friend of mine, sila Cowboy, said, pa-jam natin si Jamie. Sige. So nag-doors kami. Tapos sinasabi niya, Jamie, nasa stage na kami, Jamie, Led Zepp. Sabi ko, pare, kaya ako nag-doors eh. Hindi ko abot yung Led Zepp. Pero subukan natin. So nag-Whole Lot of Love kami and all that. I think we were in My Father's Mustache.
Akala ko handlebar eh. Kasi I saw you
Hindi.
parang...
Sa handlebar, pag pupunta ako sa handlebar, kasi parang sa handlebar kasi mataas yung stage eh.
Yeah.
So kung masikip yung pantalon ko, hindi ako magda-jam kasi hindi ako makakit kasi masikip yung pantalon ko eh. So minsan, pag masikip yung pantalon ko, background para, thank you. Diba? But it was the first time I jammed with him was in My Father's Mustache. And he didn't really know me. He didn't really know me from fucking Adam. But after I played, he took the time to put his arm around me and said, okay ka, Jamie, tuloy mo to.
Sarap.
And of course, he didn't really know that, I've been jamming with the Blue Rats. I've been jamming with Jun Lupito.
Yeah.
Playing with Jun Lupito. He didn't know. And I think that's what made it more pure. Kasi hindi niya ako kilala, pero inakap niya ako. Sabi niya, Jamie, okay ka, pare, tuloy mo to, And that's coming from Wally Gonzalez. Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, pare. Sige, isa pang kanta. Sige, magle-Led Zepp na ako. Sige, kakayanin ko to. Diba? But it was such an amazing moment considering all the achievements of this man and his music.
Yeah.
What about your experience jamming with him, JR? How was that?
Sobrang sarap. I've known him for a long time na rin kasi when bata pa akong musikero, kilala ko na siya eh. So, couple of times lang, basta jam lang with sila Tito Bong. And, napakabait. He's a good guy. Sobrang bait na senior. Wally Gonzalez na yun eh. And wow, basta iba siya.
Parang nakakatawa siya, di ba? Parang sa isip natin, he's Wally Gonzalez.
Pero
wala sa isip niya yun eh. He's such a down-to-earth guy na parang, okay, tahimik lang ako. Di ba?
Yun. Tao ngiti-ngiti lang. Ganun. Sobrang swerte ko kasi I also I got to be the guitar player ilang beses lang rin kay Payaps. So I'm a lucky guy na nakasama ko yung mga legends and I would always thank them kasi nung bata ako, pangarap ko lang yun eh. Pangarap ko lang makasama tong mga to eh. Parang, oh shit. hanggang ngayon I still have goosebumps pag naaalala ko sila. And yeah, sobra. Lalo na si Wally, kasi Senior Wally, gitarista rin ako eh. So,
Correct.
iba. Wally's Blues Forever po siya.
Wally's
Sa mga
Blues
paborito.
Forever.
Ay, iba
So okay,
talaga.
so you've known these guys for a while, and I want to ask you guys these questions because I mean at the gigs we never really get to discuss this, right? But what were your first musical influences growing up? Let's start with si Harold, since he's now experimenting with his organ, getting personal with his instrument.
As to which organ, let's leave it to your imagination.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
Harold,
Sersky, as always.
what music did you grow up listening to, pare?
Well, yeah, I was really that weird kid in high school. So imagine I was born in 94. By the time 2006, 2007, I was high school. Pero,
Musikero na kami
2007. Yeah. So 2007, you have to understand that everyone young was listening to My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy. Yun yung uso nun no? Kung hindi ka man mahilig sa rock, Taylor Swift, ganyan, Lady Gaga, blah, blah, blah. Ako lang yung, legit, I mean, my high school batchmates can say this about me. Ako lang yung mahilig sa Deep Purple, Black Sabbath.
Wow!
So,
Mismo.
Kasi, and as a pianist, keyboardist, parang out of place ako kasi rock, di ba?
Yeah,
but
because I mean, as a
Deep Purple.
pianist, but as a pianist, those are very strange influences when you say Sabbath and Purple.
Exactly.
Oh.
So,
how did you discover them?
Well, my dad had albums. Matagal na akong hiwalay sa dad ko. I mean, umalis kasi siya, blah, blah, blah. Pero nag-iwan siya ng sobrang daming stack of albums. Tapos in-explore ko na siya mag-isa.
Nice.
So, I loved it. Buti na lang. But Deep Purple had an organist.
Yeah,
Si John Lord. Amazing stuff.
Oo,
I love this
grabe
stuff.
yun.
But then eventually, tumanda ako. Pagdating ng college, I was more into jazz, into Red Garland, Bill Evans, Oscar Peterson, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, rock, jazz, everything, you name it.
Sorry, Harold, wala kang karapatan na sabihing tumanda ako eh. You were born in 1994. Fuck, I don't even remember what I was doing in 1994. I'm sure it was a lot of kalokohan, pero tangin na, di ba?
Umiinom, tumutugtog. Wala.
Sorry.
And so, wait, what made you discover, your instrument? What made you decide to, but there's a decision in all of us. When you discover music, it's either you become a music aficionado where you love and appreciate music, but it takes another step when you say, no, this is what I want to do. What moment happened to you that you decided this is what I want to do, Harold?
Maybe because kami magkapatid, we're two boys. And you know how that is. Yung agwat namin mas malayo, 6 years. And you know how it is when you're young, you wanted to be distinct kumpara sa kuya mo. So yung kuya ko kasi nagigitara. Hobbyist, hindi siya naging professional musician, but hobbyist siya, gitarista. And you know how young boys are. Ayoko maging si kuya. Gusto kong maging distinct or I want to be my own person.
Iba naman.
Nagpiano naman ako. Parang ganun lang talaga siya, to be honest. Sobrang babaw niya. But
started out
in hindsight, yeah, I was thankful na naging ganun yung decision ko kasi nagkaroon ako ng pianist mind and weird din ng mga pianista. And also, ipa-plug ko lang, hindi lang ako pianista, kami ni Jack, where we studied Asian music. And yan, yung mga nakikita yung Japanese koto, kulintang sa likod. That also shaped our vocabulary. Kaya pag naririnig nyo yung mga improv namin at, whoa, these guys are going into weird places. Because
that's
lumalabas yung Japanese sound, yung Mindanao sound, yung Indian sound, yung Brazilian, yung ganyan, Cuban. And yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic journey. Coming from something as simple as gusto kong maiba kay kuya. And that led you to, going down your musical journey and deciding this is what I want to do. Did you meet any resistance when you started becoming a professional musician, Harold?
Oh, well, definitely. Even if my family, I love them so much. They support me. They allow. Yung mom ko, it helped me buy my very first keyboard. But I mean, we have to be real. Nasa Pilipinas tayo. I mean, I can't feed a family by playing Japanese koto, even absolutely excellently. Kahit ako pa yung maging
True.
grandmaster ng pagiging piano dito, I can't really feed kids. So
True.
may backlash, may
Kengyo ka pa.
resistance. Oo, di ba? May resistance talaga even from my mother. Parang, yan ba talaga yung landas na tatahakin mo? Sigurado ka ba dyan?
Sigurado ka ba dyan?
May mga ganun talaga. But I think the challenges, yung mga ganun as an artist, magandang challenge kasi are you really gonna stick your ground? You
Yeah.
really love what you do so
Tama.
much.
Yeah.
Uh,
To the point
So-
where, you take on other work and other jobs just to be able to play.
Yeah,
Yun,
definitely.
Sa teatro, that's what I do. I mean, I've been in theater since I was 7 years old, which is a long time before you were born, Harold. Uh, but basically, my life has been I work 3 or 4 jobs to be able to support my theater, or to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to support me playing with a
Oh, wow.
band or singing for a band.
Power to you.
Simply because you still need to. You can't deny that. You can't say no. I'm going to be a doctor because it's the most practical thing to do. If it's your passion, it's your passion. So you find a way
Yep.
to to play. As much as you can. Even my own father, who was an actor, was telling me. He sat me down. Lahat kami ng sisters ko, kasi wala akong brothers. I'm the only boy. So one day, my family, we were called to a family meeting, and our parents were saying, and we were all in theater by that time. And our parents sat us down and spoke to us and said, sigurado ba kayo? Wala bang gustong maging doktor, engineer, kahit na accountant? And this is coming from my dad, who was also an actor in movies. And he said, are you sure you want to do this? And we all said, yeah, we're okay. And our parents said, okay, touch move na to. Kasi kung gusto niyo maging doktor bukas, di namin babayaran yung education nyo. Ito na yun, ha? So we got sat down and we said, you know what? We're okay because this is what we love to do. It's our passion.
Yeah.
Because when you discover what you're passionate about, I think all our efforts should go into fulfilling that passion, or else you'll never be happy. We may never be rich, right?
Yeah.
But we'll be happy.
It's not the
And
point.
I think
Yeah.
That's the point.
and that is true.
Yun ang importante.
Yan ang importante. That's the true wealth, pare. 'Di ba? Mayaman ka sa
Money can't
happiness.
buy happiness.
That's
Yeah.
why we're
Can't buy
human.
happiness.
Yeah.
That's why we're
Yeah.
human. Ikaw
But
naman,
it
ikaw
can
naman.
buy new instruments, which
Well,
somewhat
yeah.
accounts to happiness.
Kaya kailangan na scholarship. Yeah.
Ayan.
Kailangan ng scholarship.
Kailangan ng scholarship, kailangan ng patron. Patrons of the art.
Hey!
Ang ganda ng patron.
Oo. So, ikaw naman, Jazz.
Still in
Jazz,
this day and age, it's very relevant, patrons.
ikaw, Jazz, how did you discover music, and when was the moment you decided that you wanted to be a musician?
Oh, I did not have a say in this whole ordeal of me wanting to become a musician. I did not
Really?
have a say in it. Because my dad was a musician even before I was born.
Okay.
So basically what he
I
did
told
was he
Ate
made a genetically musified organism out of my ass. He did an experiment on me when I was born, or when I was in my mom's womb. The thing is, I was not supposed to be in the picture at all. It was supposed to be two of my sisters and my brother, and then that was it. No more me. Tapos, umaangal yung kapatid kong lalaki na bakit wala daw tumatawag sa kanyang kuya. Meron tumatawag sa kanyang ate, may tinatawag siyang ate, sa kanya walang tumatawag na kuya. Lo and behold, mangyayaring magkakaroon ng Jack Dufort. Same agwat kay Harold at sa kuya niya. 6-7 years age gap.
Wow.
And then, at the time, my dad was, meron siyang sariling ati-atihan. It was what he was doing at the time, and then he was into Afro-Latin, Afro-Brazilian because he got into a band with my godfather, si Mr. Borazon, who at the time
Mm.
was one of the pioneers of
Mismo.
playing
Oh,
folkloric
Afro-Cuban.
Afro-Cuban music, Afro-Brazilian. Exactly.
Ibo.
At the time of Malate, man, that was 90s. That was the golden
Yes.
years of Malate with the
Mm.
street
Oh,
parties.
Tama
that
na.
that
I
was
grew
the
up
best,
in those
pare.
street
Oo,
parties.
masaya yun.
Exactly. Adriatico, I grew up in it. I grew up
Saya
in it.
nun.
Sarado yung buong circle and everything. And then while my mom was carrying me in her room, my dad would put these huge ass headphones, yung pang aviation, like over my mom's room, and he would play these tunes na Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Cuban, like African jazz and everything. 9 months later, paglabas ko, boom, tangina sinkopado yung iyak mong bata. Oh, parang gago. And that's how I came to be. I grew up I grew up listening and hearing these tunes na nung nagkamalay ako when I grew up and then I had consciousness na I was like, I know this song. Why have I heard this
Oo, yun.
before? Why does it seem familiar? Because narinig ko na siya nung nasa tiyan pa lang. Exactly.
Si Jazz parang
Exactly.
lumang bata eh. Bata na mama na. Yung mga alam niya
Pinanganak
Sabi
ng
ko,
matanda.
alam mo to? Totoo. Mama na bata. Ganun yung...
Yeah. Nagugulat
I would
si Kuya
commercial ko
JR.
lang ha. I-commercial ko lang Jazz ha. You know what, Sir Jamie? I would see Jazz when he was still a little boy. And ang galing na niya mag-percussion.
Wow.
So,
Little pa rin ngayon.
Close
You know,
close ko kasi
jazz. You know,
niya.
I'm sure if you were there in the 90s in the Malate scene and all that, I'm sure I've
Yes.
seen that same little boy, JR. I'm sure I saw you also.
Probably.
Playing
That was
already.
me.
Yung
Ang
mga
AirPods
penguin,
niya nasa
yung mga
pinikpikan eh.
Ayun, there
Penguin
we go.
and Malate
That is
across,
one of the-
like
Penguin,
across.
Medyo circle, tapos lumipat sa nakpil, sinasarado nila yung buong nakpil. Tapos
Yes,
yung
with Or House and Hobbit House and the
Yes.
whole strip. Yes,
Mismo.
I was there.
Tapos-
I was
Tapos
born
yung mga
there.
street parties natin, pinikpikan yung nag-uumpisa nun eh. May drum corps
Yun.
sila.
My dad was
Tapos
was
naglalakad
one of
sila.
pinikpikan.
There
Yes.
you go. Naglalakad yung pinikpikan from
Roaming around Adriatico.
yeah, and then the party would just follow them organically,
Exactly.
Yung mga pulis, yung mga
Street
pulis
parties,
dati,
costumes and everything. They
yung
couldn't
mga
do
pulis,
shit.
hindi nila alam ano nangyayari. Parang bakit biglang
They couldn't do shit.
party
Exactly.
dito.
Masaya
Those are
yung
the best.
time na yun.
Exactly.
Those are the best. Those
man.
are the best days.
Malati
I think.
I was born. I grew up
I
in
would see
that.
you.
I grew up.
I
in it.
always see
I
you
grew
dun
up in
eh.
it.
Your Jamie. Nakikita kita lagi dun. During those times.
Oh, malamang wasak.
Lahat naman
Diba?
yata tayo.
Definitely.
I was always with sila Carl and
Definitely.
Nathan. Sila yung mga kasama ko.
Sir
Yung
Calroy, of course, kapatid.
Gapang pa uwi. O kaya minsan 6 a.m. na, tuloy-tuloy pa rin, nag-drum corps pa yung barangay captain, talagang
Yes.
please lang, pwede mag-stop na tayo kasi madaling araw na.
4 to 5 a.m.
Diba?
Yes. May nagsasayaw kahit asphalt, man. Like everybody was there. The
And you know
who's of the who's were there.
What's amazing about that is what I remember the drum corps, I call them the drum corps of Pinikpikan, would walk around. And then, na-realize mo, like siguro nag-umpisa mga 11 p.m. Yan, umpisa na.
Yes,
Tapos
11:30.
Nagbe-build up yung party. Tapos pagdating ng alas 3, nakikita mo sila, putang na wala. Nasaan yung sapatos mo? Nasaan yung tsinelas mo? Wala na.
It's gone. Everybody
It's
don't know where
gone.
the fuck it's
People were
happening.
barefoot.
Exactly.
People were losing their clothes.
Yes.
That's how it was in the 90s.
You don't
That's
know
how
who
it
you
was.
ended up going home with, who you went
Exactly.
with, what you were wearing. I grew up in that, man. The glory days
Pare,
of Malate.
minsan, di ba, minsan, di ba, Judge Jer, I don't know if this happened to you, but pare, minsan umuwi ako, iba na yung t-shirt ko.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly.
Diba? Paano nangyari ito? Kailan ito nangyari?
That happened
Kanina
to
to?
my dad. That happened to my dad. He came home in a shirt that he didn't know how the fuck ended up in his bag.
And I'm sure
Exactly.
I've jammed
Nangyari na sa
with
akin
your
dyan,
dad.
nagising ako sa ibang bahay.
Well,
Yun,
yeah.
Hey!
Well, Iba yan.
That happens too.
So Jazz, I'm sure I've jammed with your dad in Pepito Bosch's house in Pasay, where
Malamang!
Oh,
Pinikpikan was
definitely
formed.
Lemuria,
I
Zamora,
Lemuria,
and
I'm
probably
sure I
basically
used to
in
live.
Blue Ridge at the
Yeah,
Bosch's residence.
yes, I used to live.
Definitely,
I used to
definitely.
live in the Bosch's in the Bosch
Yun
compound.
na. Pipito.
And I'm
Yes,
sure
yes.
we
I'm very great
expanded
friends
our
with the
minds
granddaughter
together.
of Mamita. Yes.
So yeah, that's
That
fantastic.
was when I
That's
was
a
a kid
fantastic
until high
lineage,
school.
pare.
Same with Harold, and then
Kilala mo yan, Yor,
come
yung airpods
college.
niyan, si Jose Dufort. Yung tisoy na
Yes,
percussion
You
player.
probably know
yes.
my
Jose's his
dad
dad.
by
Jose's
face.
his dad.
Nobody. And then come time college na nag-meet kami ni Harold, and then we got into the whole jazz scene and whatever it is that we're doing now with traditional music. I think that was the greatest turning point in how our musical journey came about, and how we try to understand and express ourselves now, given the knowledge that we had growing up. High school times, yeah, I'm sure.
Mm.
Fallout Boy, Paramore, Mychem. Kung si Harold nandun sa rock side, my dad gave me what? Tower of Power,
Yeah.
Chicago, um,
Yes.
Earth, Wind.
Yeah.
Yun yung binigay nung dad ko. And nung nagpunta kami ng college, we met each other. We traded all these things together. Nakasama ko na si Harold sa ibang banda pa and everything. And I tried to share the most of what I can with my background, and they did. And then we had this melding of musical influences. So how we put this in context in JR Oca with Joe, I think yun yung pinakamagandang nangyari, na kinuha ako ni Kuya JR and then na-refer ko si Harold, and then that's something else that adds to the color of what Joe gives to the people, na I'm sure hindi rin namin ine-expect na mangyari, and hindi rin expect ni Kuya JR. And I think that's something
Iba
beautiful
kasi yung
na,
chemistry,
we can
hindi
always
na
give.
babayaran
Exactly.
yun.
Correct.
Iba
Correct.
eh.
Mhm.
Pag andun, andun.
JR, let's go to
Yes.
you, pare. What music did you grow up listening to?
Ano ako, ang daming nagulat dito nung pag tinatanong ako ng mga kids now. Sabi niya, ano daw yung pinag... Sabi ko, si Slash. Guns N' Glam. Siyempre.
Yeah.
Glam. Siyempre.
Mm.
Si Slash ang pinaka-idol ko bago naging sila Scofield or si lahat ng mga jazz na gusto ko. Si Slash muna. Kasi
Yeah.
sobrang bilib ako kung how he does his solos, and ang galing eh. Kaya mo siyang gawin. Pero yung kwento ng solo niya, kahit ikaw
Tasteful,
alam mong
yeah.
kantahin hanggang ngayon yung solo niya.
Yeah.
Kahit lahat ng, pag sinabi ko November rin, alam mo sa utak mo, kaya mong kantahin yung solo. Pag sinabi
Tama.
kong Knocking on Heaven's Door nila, alam mo yung solo nila. Diba? And ang galing. Yun lang. Kasi sa akin, ako gusto, bilang gitarista, mahalaga sa akin yung may storya, yung kwento ng kanta, pati yung solo dapat andun.
Yes.
Yun. Dapat kasi para ka nagkukwento niyan eh. Hindi pwede yung kwento mo ganito sabay babaliko ng pagdating sa solo. Hindi eh.
I feel
So,
like
yun,
it's very
ako.
curious. I've always wondered about this, and I've always asked this question with with guitar players who also sing, right?
Mhm.
And the best description I've had was parang kung the guitar takes over pag hindi mo na siya makanta. When you can't put
Yeah.
the emotion into words anymore. That's when the guitar takes over. So parang tinutuloy mo lang yung kwento pero hindi mo naman siya masabi. Tuloy-tuloy lang yung itutuloy ng gitara. So Slash was your gateway into
before
guitar.
and before I got to listen to favorite ko, Tower of Power, sila John Scofield, sila sino ba to? Stanley Jordan. Actually, naging roadie ako ni Stanley Jordan dito sa Pilipinas. Ayun. So, dahil sa
Cheers.
PI Jazz Fest, marami akong
Oh, hala, nawala.
Disappear.
So while he's not here, let's talk about JR.
Yan,
Alright.
yan.
So lumalabas ba yung pagka-slash niya sa gigs? Nagta-top hat ba siya?
Ayan, sorry.
Kumukulot ba yung
Hindi
bibig
siya
niya?
nagtatap hat eh. Hindi siya nagtatap. Dapat nagtatap
Sorry.
hat ka, Kuya JR. Wala,
JR,
pinag-usapan
dapat
ka
Wait lang,
namin.
mamaya ka na.
Oh.
Mamaya ka na ulit.
Ma-disconnect ka
Bibigyan
ulit.
lang naman yung tanong ni Jamie.
Sorry.
Disconnect ka muna ulit.
May napindot
Disconnect ka
ako.
muna ulit.
Hindi.
Disconnect ka
Sorry.
muna ulit. May tanong si
Kuya
Jamie
JR,
sa aming
kailangan
dalawa.
magtatap hat na
Sagutin
kayo.
lang namin.
Tinatanong ko si Jazz
Lumalabas
at si
daw ba
Harold
yung pagka-slash mo
sa mga
sa
gigs.
gigs?
Hindi na eh. Alam mo, when I was
Kailangan nga mag-sombrero ka.
Hindi na. Wag na. Okay na tayong ganito. Hindi na tayo.
Sa akin, lumalabas pa rin eh. Iba lang yung lingwaheng ginagamit.
Siguro.
Yeah, exactly.
Siguro. Kasi,
The very fact
kasi-
na si Kuya JR, mahilig siya mag-solo while singing, while scatting his solo.
Correct.
Exactly where I was going with. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's
Sige, tuloy mo.
thinking of that melody. He's a very melodical soloist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes.
Salamat, idol, ah.
Melodic.
Yun.
Melodic.
And mga influences ko rin. Gaya niyan, sila Nyor Jun, Lupito, sila Uncle Sam, Sammy Asuncion, of course.
Yes.
Ang mentor ko pala, ang dalawang mentor ko na ang dalawa kong mentor na gitarista sa Pilipinas na talagang love na love ko. Yung isa wala na siya, si Koyang Avenir.
Yes, si
And
Koyang.
Of course. And
Koyang.
si Noli Aurelio. Yan. Yun na.
Wow!
Pero I also want to
Wow.
say, kahit hindi gitarista, mentor ko din eh. Gaya, may banda ko with Sinla Nyor Mardison and Senior Troop. So they also, ang laki na natututunan ko sa kanila. Kay Lanyor Henry, Lanyor Richard,
Lemuria.
everyone, yung mga legends. I'm very lucky na nakakatugtugan ko sila. Again, pangarap ko lang yun before. Sobrang sarap.
Yan ang maganda with the seniors eh. When I started hanging around with sila Piaps, with sila Jun Lupito, my gateway into live performing with a band was Coco Jam. So that's sila Rolly, sila Bosho,
Kuya
Rico
Rolly.
Velez. That's the first time I ever jammed with a band on a dare, and I discovered live music, and I said, "Shit, I have to do this, not just theater, no." But one thing amazing about the seniors was they're so generous. They were so generous and so welcoming na gusto mong gawin to, o tara. 'Di ba? They were always ready for a jam. They were always ready to parang I've seen younger guitar players, like when I was growing up, and si Dave Aguirre ng Razorback, batang-bata pa lang. I would see them in between sets. It's a Coco Jam gig. And then in between sets, dala ni Dave yung gitara niya. Okay? Tapos nagpapaturo siya kay June. How do you get this tone? How do you get this that? And you can in between sets, that's when we relax, that's when we talk to girls, that's when we drink and all that. But you see these seniors, these legends taking the time to actually tell you, hindi ganito ka. Ano yung settings mo? Ito, dapat ganito yung gawin mo sa string. Yung mga ganon, and I'm like, it blew my mind because that level of generosity is very rare.
Si Koyang, you know what? Si Koyang, he would teach me before in Stonehouse while Tita Sandra was singing, while he was accompanying Tita Sandra, doon ako nakaupo. Papainumin ka na, tuturuan ka pa habang tumutugtog to ha. Pwede mong gawin to. Pwede mong gawin yan. Sabi ko, grabe tong mamang to. Grabe, sobra. Sobrang thankful ako at nakasama ko sila. Grabe. Si David pala, Nyor Jamie, minsan nagkakasama kami niyan and we would call it classroom. Pupunta kami, nanonood kami ng mga pupunta kami dalawa. Minsan, ito nga, may time pa, nanonood kami sa Giraffe. Doon sa Makati, may jazz na to. Naka-shorts ako. And he bought me a jogging pants para papasukin ako na gano'n.
Kasi bawal shorts, pare. Bawal shorts. Bawal na rubber shoes eh.
Punta kami Landmark ni Dave. Bili ka jogging pants. Binilan niya ako ng jogging pants. Laugh trip. Thank you, David. Idol.
Pero 'di ba, yan yung classroom natin eh. And for those of us who think of them as legends, right? They
Yeah.
when you're in the classroom, for example, like for me, my biggest education was jamming with Coco Jam every Tuesday and every
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
for
Yeah.
years. Whether it be in Mayrix or Fire and Rain or the Kalye
Mhm.
days, or the Malate days also.
Yeah, yeah.
You're always in the classroom. Even while you're playing, while you're singing, June would come up to me kasi it's June's band, right? It's June Lupita's band.
Mhm.
He would come up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the front and would make me senyas. Tapos minsan parang nung bago pa lang ako, hindi ko naiintindihan yung senyas ng mata niya eh. Tapos
Mm.
nahuhuli mo. Nahuhuli mo
Mm.
yung senyas. And you discover new things in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
musicality, in terms of emotion.
Yup.
Yung syempre yung unang-unang natutunan natin yung fuzzy eyeball, 'di ba? Parang ito na. Ito, lilipat tayo. Pero hindi niya sasabihin kung saan tayo lilipat. Basta lilipat lang tayo tapos babalik, 'di ba?
Go somewhere
I think
else.
that's
Definitely.
yeah,
It's a
you go
change
somewhere
going
else
somewhere else.
and then you
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you
Yes,
and then
definitely.
somehow by some miracle you bring it back. And
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
just
The
that just
magic.
has
That's the
never
magic.
that's never failed to amaze me in all the years I've been doing this, whether I'm on
Magic
stage or
no?
just watching.
Magic eh.
It's magic, pare. There's no
Magic
other
eh.
word for it.
Magic.
There's no other
Magic.
word for it, pare. It's
I
magic
I
talaga.
I would say JR has the same thing with us when we play live.
That's what
He
I
has the
see.
same attitude. Yeah, you witnessed it live at Top of the Globe.
Tapos iba yung ibig
Yeah.
sabihin, tataas yung kanan na kilay, tapos yung kaliwang kilay, o kaya yung ngiti, o kaya yung may ganun pa eh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
you would get it.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
Yun,
would get it.
yung muso, sa roadie yun, yung monitor ang ibig ko sabihin doon. Minsan yung
Exclusive
pa,
to para sa aming
yung
mga
pa.
roadie. This
minsan,
para sa
pag
roadie
hindi ako
yan,
makaturo sa
exclusive.
kamay kasi nagigitara, yung pa yung pinantuturo ko.
Paa.
Correct.
Alam na
may
nila
tama,
yan.
may
Shout
tama, may
out
pa.
sa dakilang roadie ng Joe. Si Adrian
Si
at
Nico, saka si Adrian.
Si Nico.
Mm.
Si
Nico
Mama-
and Adrian. Oh my God, these guys.
Oh, si Tipen nandito. We'd like to shout out to Stephen Binyas.
Hello, oy,
Tipen.
master.
Ahoy!
I love you, Tipen.
Tipen, I would like can I shout out
si
people?
Mrs. Pati si
Ang dami
Mrs.
nag-load.
That's my
Hello,
gal,
hello
Goldie
po.
soon. Bakit mo ako
Oh my
sinasir?
God, yeah.
Pero sinasir mo lang ako sa show, hindi naman sir sa tunay na buhay.
I would like okay lang ba, Sir Jamie?
Go,
Mag-shout out
Jazz,
lang
go,
ako dun sa
shout
mga
out,
ibang
pare, go.
nag-ano. Hi kay Sheila, kay 18, kay oh my God, Siddhartha is watching the stream right now. Hello,
Uy,
hello.
Idol ko yan, Jazz ah.
Yes.
Yan ba yung singer?
Yes,
Uy, hi.
Siddhartha is watching the stream right now. Kay
Hello,
Sheila
boss.
and kay Kathy Morales. And also sa birthday girl natin si Vanessa Mendoza. Sa aking langga si Sofia, she's watching.
Okay, sandali.
Oh,
So nag-shoutout
Gulat ako dun,
nag-shoutout si Tipen na hello Idol, Jax and Harold. Paano naman yung kilala si Tipen, guys? Kasi I know Tipen from theater and I think he's one of the most talented
Yes.
most amazing people that I have ever
Definitely.
met. I mean, kung i-google mo yung Pure Heart, yan lalabas si Tipen
siyang
dyan,
siya.
di ba?
He's there.
Di ba?
She's definitely
How do you-
Harold,
Ikaw correct ka
do
pa.
the honors.
Did you
Pag-usapan
mean
natin,
Stephen Binyas?
Yes. Stephen
Did you mean? Exactly. Google would do that. Exactly.
Di ba? May ganun eh.
Sir
Diba? How do you guys
do
know
the
him?
honors.
Well, si Senior Tipen, napakahusay na Tipen, ay kabarkada rin namin because I'm also in another band called Debonair District. And yung singer namin, si Toma Kayabyab, which is the
Yes.
brother of Krina Kayabyab, which is, ayun, asawa niya. Now, wife ni Stephen Binyas. So, dun ako connected sa kanya. But also, because UP is such a malitang small world sa UP. So,
Correct.
Maliit
So
ang
yung
small world.
so yung eksena naman ay
Yung title namin ni kay Tipen is National Son-in-Law.
I understand that. Why the fuck
Ang
do I
ganda.
understand that?
Ang ganda.
Why do I
National
understand that?
son-in-law yan.
Yes. National
Diba?
son-in-law. Siya yung dadalhin mo sa mga family reunion at hindi ka na mag-aalala.
So this is the beauty. This is what I love about doing this show. That we have all these, like, I mean, not only are we talking about your music and what got you started playing music and why you love music, but we're also discovering all these connections from jazz, your dad,
Yeah.
and then us seeing each other, JR in fucking Malate when we were wasted, although I barely
Ay!
remember it. Nung hindi pa
Idagdag-
pinapanganak si Harold. Hindi pa pinapanganak si
Idagdag ko
Harold.
pala, Sir Jamie. Ako kasi, kaya rin ako nagbanda, it's because of my brother. Yung brother ko na una, singer siya ng Violent
Yes.
Playground eh. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hindi ko alam.
So all these connections, man. I used to
Yeah.
I used to watch. I used to headbang to Violent Playground, pare.
Yun.
Yung naka army boots ka, naka mohawk pa ako,
Yun,
naka trench coat ako kahit na hindi
Trench
umuulan,
coat?
napakainit. Pare, naka trench coat ako. Nagtiis
Naka-all
passion
black
yun.
ka, no?
All
Naka-all
black.
black.
Tapos
Forma
naka
yun,
trench coat.
sir.
Tapos may eyeliner pa ako noon, di ba? Every day yan. Di ako lumalabas ng bahay na walang eyeliner. Because that was the scene before. And this was
Yeah.
the scene before digital cameras, before social media. Kaya wala tayo,
Oh, yeah.
thank God, wala tayong masyadong pictures of the 90s kasi
Naku, mas wild yun.
ang daming
Mas-
blackmail.
Totoo
Ang daming
yun.
black-
I've seen pictures from the 90s and yes, they were
No, it
They
wasn't
were
for that.
awesome.
not
They
for
were
this
awesome.
generation.
They were oof.
Definitely
wasn't-
not for this generation. No.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mas magandang sagot.
Thankful kami ni Harold na buhay kami from both generations and we were in
Ah.
between and we got to live both of them. So
Yeah.
we know what not to show to the present generation.
All right, guys. So we're going into this segment that I'm going to be asking you 10 quick questions. All right. It's called the rundown.
Okay.
And I want to ask you
Okay.
10 quick questions and no need to explain it. Just the first thing that pops into your head. Okay?
Okay.
Ito,
Uy,
medyo
maganda to,
mahirap. Ito, medyo mahirap to. Ito, pop quiz. Pero wala namang math. So, okay lang, di ba? Hindi na tayo
Yun,
mag-math.
good.
Di ba? Kaya tayo
Safe.
musikero. Ayaw natin mag-math eh.
Nahihilo ko sa numero actually.
Ako rin, pare. Alam ko lang, 1, 2, 3, 4. O kaya pag teatro, 5, 6, 7, 8.
6, 7, 8.
Five.
Yeah.
A five.
A 5, 6, 7, 8.
5.
5, 6,
A
7,
five.
8.
Oo. Okay, so all right, 10 quick questions. Let's start with Harold. All right.
Yo.
If you had to choose one, only one, what would be your absolute favorite song in the whole world? Just one song. Diba mas mahirap to sa math, diba? Mas mahirap. One song. If you could choose one song. Off the top of your head, pare.
A Day in the Life. Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Oh,
Good.
Oh,
Very
ayop.
good. O, ikaw, Jazz.
Esperanza Spalding Precious.
Nice. And JR?
Lupang hinirang. Sorry. No.
Wow!
No.
Pare,
Kasi mga
safe.
Pilipino.
Ang safe.
Tangina.
Sorry. Hindi. Isa yun.
Well,
pero,
diba, okay, guys. Sorry. Going to Lupang Hinirang, naiyak ba kayo nung nanalo tayo ng gold sa Olympics? Oh my God.
Definitely. Definitely.
Pare, tumayo ako.
Idolin Diaz, man.
Congrats.
Idolin Diaz.
Okay na ako sa
Love
lupang
you.
hinirang. Okay na ako doon sa lupang hinirang.
Oh, so yan. That's your
Mismo.
final answer. That's your final answer.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
very
the final answer.
Okay.
Tuloy ako
Biglang
eh.
nagkaroon ng write-up eh.
Oo, di ba? Oh. Ito, okay. Question number 2. Who is your favorite local band or artist? One lang.
Okay.
Harold.
Hirap.
Di ba? Mas mahirap pa ito sa math, di ba?
Oo nga, mas mahirap pa sa
Mas madali yung 1 plus 1. Pero who would be your favorite local
Puta.
band or artist? Just one. Who would that be?
Bob Aves.
Bob Aves.
Ah!
Nice. Yes. Sir Bob. I should have Bob on the show. Okay. Jazz, ikaw.
Ako, since nag-Bob Aves si Sharon, I would easily go for Bullet Tunes.
Bullet. Si Bullet.
Bullet
Very good.
Tunes. Definitely.
And JR.
Bukod sa Joe,
Hey! Hey!
Yun!
Hey!
so, kailangan bang artist lang, isang tao lang, or banda dapat?
Yeah, pwedeng banda, pwedeng artist. Pero
Banda,
isa lang.
pwede.
Marami na ako na banggit na musikero. Ito, wala na rin siya, pero isa to sa mga idol ko. Si Mencho Apostol.
Uy.
Chomen.
Uy!
Yes.
Chomen!
Chomet.
Chomen!
Yeah.
Chomen! Man. The sound.
Okay. Okay.
Chomen.
Okay, question
Chomen is the
number 3
sound.
tayo.
Go to.
Question number 3. Ito, mas general to, pero top of your head lang yung sagot natin. No need to explain. Okay, question number 3. Harold, what turns you on?
Okay.
Uy! Uy!
Good God. Ano ba yan?
Flat 13!
What turns you on?
I don't mean this in a very obscene way, but a very tight work of art. You get what I mean?
Yes. I
Oh.
get it.
Oh, man. That's so
Malalim
beautiful.
yun, ah.
That's so
Lalim,
beautiful.
pare.
Hello,
Ang galing
I love
mo.
your work of art. Oh, di ba?
Yeah.
Hello, miss, I love your work of art.
Di ba parang t-shirt yun, di ba?
Oh,
Parang t-shirt eh. I'm a tight work of art.
Hindi
Yun.
ko
Yun.
papaliwanag.
Oo.
Gets yun eh.
Di, ang ganda. Gets.
Oo.
Very good. O, ikaw,
Pwede,
Jazz.
pwede. Pasok yun.
Ikaw, Jazz, what turns you on?
What turns me on, since I'm a communication whore, anything that is communicated properly. So, same line kay Harold. Anything that is communicated properly, may it be dance, music, or language, na hindi na kailangan ng extrang paliwanag, massive, turn on.
Hindi na kailangan ng disclaimer, hindi na kailangan ng program notes.
No
Yun
need for that. As long as you present it to me and you communicated the message like
Nice.
clearly, yun na yun.
Okay. Ikaw, JR, what turns you on?
Bukod sa pakikinig ng mga urig ko,
Ooh!
Talaga po.
Venga!
Available on all streaming platforms.
yun.
Sino ba
Spotify,
talaga yung-
na-experience mo na ba?
Sino ba talaga
Offshore
yung
music.
magaling
Experience mo na ba?
magbuhat?
Experience mo na ba?
Hybilin o
Offshore
si
di ba?
JR?
music.
Actually, nakaka-turn on sa akin yung yung magandang pag-interpretasyon ng kanta.
Ah, yes, Lord.
Kara.
Yun.
Yes,
Yun.
Lord.
Diba?
Yes, Lord.
Yung tipong tatayo balahibo mo pag
Yes.
na-interpret ng mga,
Goosebumps.
oh my gosh.
And that's the feeling we all want. Whether you're watching,
Yeah,
listening, or playing it, di ba? Habol natin yung
Yeah,
goosebumps.
Definitely.
Ay.
Because
Iba
we
yung pag
all...
tumutugtog tapos gina-goosebumps ka pa ng kabanda mo eh. Or yung kasama mo sa stage.
Yun.
That's something else. That's
And
something
that's-
else.
Ako pagkasama ko kayo, tinitigasan ako eh.
Oh, Pare,
Same!
you know what?
Same!
That's the best description.
Iligo mo yan.
When you're playing with a band and something, when the music is happening live, tapos tinitigasan ka, yun.
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 That's it.
Yun.
That's exactly it.
That's a tight work of art, pare. You
Yep.
know?
Yung next album po pala, nailigo nyo na ba yan? Yun yung...
Yun.
Yun ang next album ng JR Oca. Nailigo mo na ba yan?
Yun na nga yun eh. Gagawa tayong t-shirt na kalagay. Na-experience mo na ba? Tapos sa likod, JR Oca. O, di ba?
Ang ganda.
JR Oca. Ah!
Yun.
Such a nice.
Pwede.
Okay, let's go to the fourth question naman. Parang iba. Harold, what turns you off?
Oh, man.
Close-mindedness.
Nice. Yes,
Damn!
that's true. That's the worst. I think
Yeah.
closed-mindedness, the unwillingness to understand another point of view,
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why, man? What, give it a chance, and then you can decide if you like it or you don't,
At least,
right?
the
Yeah,
very least, listen, di ba?
At the very
yeah,
At
least.
yeah,
the least,
yeah.
listen.
Yes, ganda, ganda, ganda. Ikaw, Jazz, ano yung what turns you off?
Stagnation.
Oh, that's the worst.
The yung hindi ka open sa change or to moving or to being content.
Yeah.
I think nobody really is ever content.
Well, you know what? I
Contentment.
mean, there are unfortunately some artists that I will not mention their names that are, when you have that feeling of naka-autopilot lang.
Mm-hmm.
Yan
Yeah,
yung
Maraming
para sa
ganun.
akin,
that goes
yan
along.
yung stagnation eh. Yan yung stagnation eh. Kung naka-autopilot ka lang,
Exactly.
wala.
Exactly.
Parang you're going through the
Yung
motions.
autopilot. Exactly. That kills the whole vibe of
Yeah,
artistry and everything else that serves the purpose of being alive. You're
correct.
going through the motions. It's like everything is programmed. It
Yes.
doesn't have to concern being a musician. It just have to goes with living. Pagluluto. Um,
Hmm.
how you go out with your daily lives, how you would do certain, normal or mundane activities without the spice of something else. Everything that is stagnant for me is very off-putting. You know, na
Very
hindi
good.
mo lalagyan ng something new or you're not open to changing things up. That for me is a huge turn off.
True. True. I can't agree more. Ikaw, JR,
Yeah.
what's your turn off?
Simple lang ako. Mga negative na tao. Yun lang. Yun lang.
At ang dami.
Simple lang.
Ang dami
Kasi
ngayon,
ako
ha?
gusto ko,
Ang daming
ako gusto ko lang
ngayon.
masaya eh, alam mo yun. Gusto ko lang masaya kasi lalo sa panahon ngayon, hindi ka dapat maging, alam mo yun, dapat maging masaya ka na lang. Alam mo yun. Try to be happy. Kung buhay pa tayo, dapat masaya nga tayo.
Correct. I mean,
Nakakalungkot man, marami
That
nang wala sa
is
atin.
reason.
that's what I always try to
Mm.
tell, people who are down and people who are, depressed or they don't, they're lost and all that.
Mm.
Pare, all you need to do is find a reason to smile. And if you find a
Yun.
reason to
Exactly.
Yun lang.
smile, it's not that hard because as you
That's
said,
it.
JR, we're still alive. We're still here.
Yun. Yun lang.
That
Pasalamat
alone,
na tayo.
waking up and opening my eyes, pare, pasalamat na ako nun.
Mhm. Yun na yun.
Kasi
Yun na yun.
how many times has the world conspired to take us out of this world and we're still here.
Mhm.
So that alone
That's
is reason to
why
smile.
Definitely.
Okay.
maganda yung, yeah, that's it.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Let's go to question number 5. All right. Harold. Ito simple lang to kasi pwede tong
Sim-
you can refer to this as truthfully as you want, right?
Oh no.
And, laki ng layup ko, no? Pero napakasimple yung question.
Oh.
Ano,
Mas kinakabahan ako.
what
Oo nga eh.
song in your current playlist is on repeat right now?
Ooh, okay. What song is it?
Ako simple lang yung sagot ko eh kasi I've been listening to you guys for days and Pulang Sintas is on repeat.
Pulang Sintas, ano?
This morning it was Rapsadugan.
Eh.
Pero
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
when I got home in the afternoon, Pulang Sintas is on repeat. So napakasimple.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
What's on repeat with you, Harold?
Sobrang iba yung trip ko ngayon.
Mm.
Ibang-iba talaga from my past listenings. Naki-Chance the Rapper ako ngayon eh. For some reason. So
Alright, that's
I'm
good.
listening to this track called Same Drugs. And yun lang siguro yung vibe ko recently. Trying to explore that side of the world.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Exploration is always good. With no judgment. No judgment.
Yeah.
Music is music in all its forms.
Definitely.
The only way you can decide what you like or what you don't like is to listen to it.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you
Only.
for that. Thank you for
The
that. That's
only
a
way you
lovely.
can decide. Ikaw, Jazz. Ano yung naka-repeat
Sa
sa'yo?
akin, it's not really on repeat, but the theme keeps referring to a certain place, a certain someone, a certain object. It goes to being fixated on something, someone, some place, some event, that keeps you centered. Um, Brazilian probably is varias queixas. It's referring to something that you fixate on somebody so much that you want to know what's happening in their lives every day,
Mm.
right? So sa English, it's yung pinakikinggan kong kanta, it's hypotheticals. It's with somebody that you want to have a future or something certain with na, it's uncertain, but you're really trying to make something else out of it already, even if there's not anything with it, but it's there. So it's all about being hopeful about what the future may bring, in being open to certain changes and possibilities, in trying to rid yourself of certain traumas, in attachments that might have brought you pain or suffering, and it gives you that avenue to change and experience something new. So it
So
allows
yun
you
yung
that,
so that's the theme of your playlist now.
yeah, it's
Yan
it's
yung
it's
theme.
all about, yeah, experiencing a lot of new things, learning, and allowing yourself to be subject to change for growth, and definitely a lot of things to come. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, JR, ikaw.
Ako, he's an Indonesian guitar player and singer. His name is
Oh.
Van Vifurit, and his
Oh.
song is called Hello Anxiety. Checkin ninyo,
Hello.
boys. Sarap.
Low anxiety. That's so relevant today, pare. You know? Hello
Very.
anxiety.
Hello, Angsa. You're welcoming it with open arms.
Pakinggan ninyo.
Oo, di ba? Okay yun
Pakinggan ninyo,
Gusto ko yun.
sobrang sarap ng ang galing ng
Check it out,
melody ng kanta, ang galing ng chord progression niya. Sobrang
Okay.
simple lang yung song pero ang sarap. Ay, pakinggan nyo. Hello Anxiety.
Sige,
Hello.
sige,
Indonesian
game
siya. Galing.
Game.
Send
Game.
link.
Ko
Yun
yan.
ako.
Send
Game
link.
yan,
Actually,
game yan.
kaya ko siya pinakinggan. Favorite siya ng mga anak ko.
Game yan.
Bata pa tong
Next.
Yup.
Nilaro ko siya ni Ella.
Yup.
Saan
Next
mo
game.
nahanap? Oh.
Uy,
Oh.
wala na.
Oh, nawala.
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 Wala.
So,
Okay.
nagpapa-shoutout si Popo QG.
Popo
Looking great,
GQ.
Cap.
Hello.
Panotis.
Pa-shoutout kay
Popo.
Cap JR. At kami na lang muna mag-shoutout sa'yo, sir.
Hello, sir.
Malamang may napindot na naman yan. Oh, si Juno Obanda.
Sorry.
Direct Juno. Hello, Direct Juno.
Hi,
Ayun.
Direct Juno.
Shoutout.
JR's
Oo.
back.
Juno.
He's connecting again.
Hello po,
Hello, Sir
Direct.
Juno.
Okay, so
Ayun,
hello
he's back.
anxiety
He's back.
tayo. Oh, JR, I'm gonna throw this next question to you
Yeah.
before you disappear again. All right?
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Okay lang. It happens, pare. You know, third world internet, baby. You know? May isang show nga, ako yung
Yes,
nawala
sir.
eh.
Ski.
May isang episode ako yung nawala.
Actually,
Imagine.
ako yung may kasalanan.
Damn!
May napipindot ako.
May napipindot.
Sorry.
Stop making...
Ang likod kasi ng kamay niyo.
Oo, yun. Stop making
Oy, alam mo.
pindot the button.
Umaandar yung kademonyohan ng aking kamay.
Parang nakita
Gumagalaw.
ko si Pau si Pau ba yun? Pau? Hi, Pau.
Popo. Si Popo.
Oh, si Popo.
Yes, sir.
All right, JR,
Ano
next
yung
question.
Yes, sir.
Next
Yes po.
question. What is your favorite word? One word.
Whoa.
Damn!
Ako lang. Biro lang. Bukod sa stud,
Oh, nice! Ang galing!
Ang galing sumikwi.
Olympic gold medalist ng pagbubuhat.
Gold medal for sponsorships. Tang ina, ang
pwedeng
galing.
Tagalog.
Oh, of
Ang
course.
galing
pwede tayo.
mag-segue. I cannot.
Sarap.
Yes, sir. Ski.
Nice. And
Yes.
there's, sarap. That's a great word, pare. That's a great word. Ikaw, Jazz, anong favorite word mo?
Totoo.
Truth. Good. And Harold?
You can
Hindi
never
ito-
really hide
Ay.
what is true for everybody or for you. So it
Mismo.
always comes out.
The truth will always come out, man.
Mismo.
No
The
matter
truth will
no
always
matter how
prevail.
hard you try to conceal it, try to modify it, try to hide it always
Exactly.
comes out.
Exactly. Whatever is true for you will always comes out. Will always come
Correct.
out. You can never
Correct.
hide it.
Mismo.
Ikaw, Harold, ano yung favorite word mo?
Wala ito sa dictionary. Hindi ito talaga official word. Pero nakakaintindihan kami. Kasi kami,
Bragadocious. Dela ko lang.
hindi. Kami sa banda, pagka sinabi namin, magpakingganan kayo.
Iyon. Iyon.
Ang baho niya pakinggan, pero gets mo yung ibig sabihin niya.
Pakingganan.
Magpakingganan.
Pakingganan.
Pakingganan.
Gets.
Listen to each other.
Yes. Open your ears, man. Listen to each other.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Definitely.
Harold, next
Agree.
question tayo.
Agree.
What drives you crazy?
Naku.
Crazy good or crazy bad?
Crazy bad.
Crazy
Drives you
bad.
crazy bad. Oh, crazy bad.
Crazy bad? Huh. Abuse of power.
Ah,
Whoa!
ang laki, pare. Ang
Heavy.
laki.
That's heavy. That's
Abuse
heavy,
of
man. That's
power.
heavy.
Yun
Abuse
na rin
of
yung
sagot
power.
ko.
That's heavy. Nice.
That
Nice.
drives me
That's
crazy
nice.
too.
That's
pare.
really nice.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
Abuse of power. That drives me
Nice.
crazy bad as well. Ikaw,
Yeah.
Jazz,
Mm.
what drives you crazy?
What drives me crazy is people who don't listen.
I agree.
Kasi even if you give them what already is happening, what's about to happen, it was bound to happen, and they still don't listen. Given already what what's happening, what may happen, and they still don't listen. Man, with us, what does that say about the people who don't listen? What does that speak
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you? So, the thing that gives me, drives me crazy is people who don't listen. Because
Agreed.
playing music is about listening to what others try to say. It's not about what you are trying to say. It's about understanding what your bandmates or what your playmates are trying to say. It's not about listening to yourself. It's about listening to what other people have to say.
Mm.
Because music is always a conversation.
And just the listening alone, just the word listening is very, very important. I mean, like I can hear the music versus I'm listening to the music. It's two very different
Exactly.
things. Listening is
Exactly.
an active, focused participation in that conversation instead of just,
Yes.
oh, I'm hearing it in the background,
Yes.
but I'm actively
Yes.
listening. It's very
Exactly.
different.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree.
Nice one. Nice one. Ikaw, JR, what drives you crazy bad?
Mapanglamang sa kapwa.
Oof.
Ooh.
Oh,
Nitty gritty. Yes. Yes.
damn.
Yun lang. Yun.
Hard
That
balling.
sucks.
Hard balling.
That
Sorry,
sucks,
sorry.
dude.
Hard
That's-
balls.
tangin na. Tangin na yun. Tangin na yung mga yun.
Oh, lalo na yung pagka dapang-dapa na yung tao, tapos lalamangan mo pa, no?
Di ba?
Oh
Bawa.
man. No, you
Why?
don't do that.
Why?
You don't
Maraming ganun eh. Well,
X yun,
Unfortunately,
X.
maraming ganon. But then, the
marami.
beauty of it is that all the musicians I've ever met, all the artists I've ever met,
Mm.
I have never seen, witnessed, or experienced that.
Mm.
I mean, I've been lucky that I'm surrounded by good people, but I've never been on the receiving end of that. And I've never
Yeah.
witnessed that from anybody I know. So
You're
thankfully,
lucky.
the people I
Yeah.
know,
You're lucky.
the
Buti na
people I
lang.
know, and the people that I try to surround myself with, are the kind of people who will help you up
Yeah.
and lift you up
Yeah.
Mismo.
instead of keep you down
Yun.
or kick you when you're
Mhm.
down. That's the worst, pare.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a
right.
good one.
That's right.
Okay, ito naman. Next question natin. JR, this goes to you. Ano yung guilty
Yeah.
pleasure mo? What's your guilty pleasure?
Ako. Guilty pleasure ko. Di ko alam eh. Si Harold
Simple
muna.
lang yan. I mean,
Pass.
pwedeng guilty pleasure na nagsising along ka sa ABBA, na nagko-choreo ka sa bahay, or yung guilty pleasure mo, Krispy Kreme.
Hindi,
Di ba?
iniisip ko nga yun eh. Actually, iniisip ko chibog eh. Kaso
Ayun,
pag
chibog,
baka malaman
pwede.
ng asawa ko, kumakain ako ng bawal kasi.
Ayan, di pwede.
Just kidding.
Huwag-
Ako, ang alam nila, guilty pleasure ko, sobrang sarap na iced tea. Kahit anong restaurant,
Oo
dati
nga,
ganito
oo
ako.
nga.
Namimili ako ng
JR.
restaurant.
House
Namimili
blend
ako
na
ng
matamis.
restaurant kung ano yung masarap na iced tea. Hindi ko ano yung
House
pagkain.
blend iced tea. I know that.
Kaso,
I can
alam,
be
inabot pa
nila.
testimonial to that.
Inabot pa nila yun. Eh kaso diabetic na ako ngayon. So,
Change
hindi
man.
Hindi na
na.
pwede.
Although,
Definitely. 180. Definitely.
paminsan-minsan, eh kasi ngayon, controlled yung sugar ko. So, paminsan-minsan, yung
Pwede.
tipong-
Pwede ka mag-indulge. Pwede ka
Yeah,
mag-indulge.
minsan-minsan lang.
Okay.
Pero, yeah, that's it. Ayun,
Ikaw,
alam
Jazz.
na ninyo.
Ikaw, Jazz, ano yung guilty pleasure mo?
My guilty pleasure would be siguro cartoons.
Anong cartoon?
Cartoons or anything related to anything wacky. Kasi as to how people would see me in gigs, na I would be the cool guy or the suave guy or whatnot, to not have anything wacky on his undersleeves and everything. I'm a fan of anything that's wacky or crazy or cartoony. So I'm a fan of cartoon shows. I'm a fan of anything that's actually corny tito dad or tito jokes.
Ah,
Kaya
That
mahal mo
shit
ko eh.
makes me crack up.
Kaya
Kaya
mahal mo ko.
kabanda ko
Kaya
si
mahal mo ko.
JR. Kaya kabanda ko si JR.
Sus mio.
Kasi yung mga jokes na binabanat niya, hindi
Beta,
niya alam.
beta sa'yo.
Gets ko na. Bago
Saka
niya pa
ito,
sabihin yung punchline, alam ko na kung saan pupunta.
Pati sa jokes, improvise rin lahat yan. Oo, lahat. Improvise. Oo. Di ba?
Tito jokes. Cartoons? Wacky
So I think
Magaling
cartoons.
that
tayo
would be
Tito
for
jokes.
me.
I love that.
That would be
I
Pwede
love
for me.
akong
that.
gumawa ng book
It's
ng
the
Tito
Tito
jokes.
jokes. Kasi
Oh, sige.
ini-expect ng mga tao sa akin would be like walang alam sa Tito joke or everything, na chill lang, pero man, I'm like as corny or as cheesy as they come. That
Alright.
guy.
All right. That's good. Ikaw, Harold, what's your guilty pleasure?
there's this video game called Cuphead. I don't know if you know this, but Cuphead is. You have to really, every musician should play Cuphead. Promise. Kasi
Cuphead?
Cuphead is cup as in cup, as in inuman,
Ah,
kape.
cup.
Tasa.
Okay,
Cup.
cup. Head.
Tasa,
Cuphead.
head,
Oh.
ulo na, yeah. So
Oh.
basically, it's a Mickey Mouse na ulo niya ay tasa. Tapos, it's a run and gun Mega Man type video game.
Okay.
Tapos, it's notorious for being extremely difficult. As in, napakahirap. As in, you have to spend 2 hours bago ka maka next level, ganyan. Pero it's so fun.
Wow.
It's absolutely
Anong
fun.
platform to? Anong platform?
It's available on Steam, on Switch, on PS4. Yeah, I think yun lang, yung tatlong yun.
Okay, Cuphead.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Check out the trailers. You will love it so much.
Okay. Sige, game.
Cuphead,
Game. Okay.
It's for
last,
musicians actually. If you
okay,
think about
Yeah.
last two questions tayo. Last two questions, all right? If you could, okay, question number 9. If you could collaborate with any artist in the world, living or dead, who would that be? Harold, let's start with you.
Man.
Who would that be? One artist lang, ah? Or a band? An artist or a band? Pero one lang.
Collaborate. Man, it's hard.
As in, susulat kayo ng kanta. Mag-jam kayo.
Good God.
Who would you want to jam with?
Ravi Shankar.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Parang parang marathon yun.
Napaka-profound.
Parang marathon
Damn.
yun. Ravi Shankar.
Respect,
Ikaw, Jazz.
respect, man, respect.
Ikaw, Jazz. Sino?
Easy to say with the consequences and the pros and cons and what he has done for the industry and where other people covered him. Michael Jackson.
Naman.
Oh,
Naman.
Yun. Yun. Pero kailangan sumayaw ka rin, Jazz.
Michael Jackson.
Kailangan sumayaw ka
Man,
rin.
what he has done for pop, jazz, and everything
Damn,
who has
diba?
covered him into to his
Yeah.
covers and his pops, how he has done for the industry. Michael Jackson, as you know, excluding all the shit that has been taken from him or has been said about him, what he has
No,
done for the industry, man,
pure
he has,
artist. Just as a
as
pure
the
artist, my
artistry that
God.
he has been, purely,
Oo
damn,
naman.
that guy revolutionized and remodeled how pop should sound like. He was too advanced for his time.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Tama.
Baliw yan,
Tama.
He
Okay,
shaped
JR.
where pop had to go through.
Siya.
Agreed. I would love to do that. And I would be dancing right beside him.
Exactly.
Ikaw, JR.
Ah,
Who would you want to
bukod
collaborate
kay
with?
bukod kay Jamie Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ayop!
Si Jaco.
Jaco Pastorius. Yun. Yun.
Yeah.
Yun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
Nice. Fuck, that would be like a super band if we have like Michael Jackson, Jacko, and Ravi Shankar. With-
Dami
And then you.
nangyayari.
And then you with us.
And daming, and yeah, I'll be fucking jamming there too. Tangina,
Dami
hayop.
nangyayari.
Imagine what would happen, no? Fuck, sasabog yung
Tigas
ulo ko.
titi yun. More or
Masakan
less.
yun. Masakan.
Tigas
Tigas
titi yun.
titi
More
talaga
or
yun.
less.
Tigas titi yun.
Tigas tits.
Okay,
Tigas titi
Tigas
talaga
tits.
yun. Sorry.
last question tayo.
Tigas
Last question. All right. For our last question for the rundown, let's start with you, JR. When you get to heaven, what do you want God to say to you?
Anak, you did a good job in spreading your music or telling your story. You did a good job and you inspired a lot of people through your
Yun.
music. Yun lang.
Nice. Very good. Okay, go, Jazz. What do you want God to say to you?
When I get to heaven or wherever that is, He's already paved the way for what I have to do. And for Him to say that I accomplished it or I did whatever which was laid out for me, that's it for me. Na nagampanan ko yung role na kailangan kong gawin. Not really have to go above and beyond, but to make a statement or enough na magawa ko yung destiny for me. Solve na ako doon, man. Solve na ako doon. That's it.
Nice.
Nothing more. That's it.
Mismo.
Okay, good. That's what we can hope for. Ikaw, Harold,
That's it.
when you get to heaven, what do you want God to say to you?
Isa lang ang gusto ko sabihin sa akin ni God pagdating ko sa heaven. Sabihin niya sa akin, "Oh, gulat ka nandito ka, no?"
Yun!
Ang galing! Ang galing! Ang galing!
Yung God kasi na paniniwala ako, may sense of humor.
Yun.
Yeah,
Gusto ko yun.
Amen. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Nakapasok ka pala. Oh, very
Gulat
good.
ka, no?
Parang tide lang
Endorser
nasa mo na,
ng Tide yung
gulat
God
ka,
mo,
no?
Harold.
Oo.
Gulat ka, no?
Gulat ka, no?
Okay.
Endorser
last,
ng
okay.
Tide God.
Mag-a-add on ako ng last question, ha? One for the road tayo. One for the road, okay?
Okay.
If you could talk to anybody just starting out in music today, what advice or what words of wisdom can you give them? Harold, let's start with you.
Just listen to anything and have fun.
Listen to anything, listen to everything. And
Yeah.
then you can make up your mind. And as long as it's fun, then that's what you should be doing.
Exactly.
Or at least listening to. Di ba?
Perfect.
Very good. Ikaw, Jazz, anong advice?
Pakinggan mo yung hindi mo pa napapakinggan. Kasi si
Yun.
Harold, yung advice niya is what you want to listen to. Ako, siguro pareho kay Harold at kay Kuya JR na kinailangang pakinggan yung mga tugtog na hindi natural sa amin as sessionist musicians.
Mm.
So, coming from the sessionist side of things, pakinggan mo yung hindi mo pa napakinggan.
Yeah.
Aralin mo yung hindi mo pa alam. And from that, tignan mo kung ano yung tunog na kaya mong gawin na alam mo na yung gusto mong gawin at alam mo na yung hindi mo pa alam. At doon, hanapin mo yung tunog na kaya mong gawin. Hanapin mo yung tunog mo. Sa mga hindi mo pa alam gawin, hahanapin mo palang gawin at yung alam mo nang gawin.
Peace.
Amin.
Ang ina, gold medal yun, ah. Gold medal yun.
Simple.
Galing.
Galing. And JR, what advice would you give to anyone just starting out in music today?
Ako, kasi narinig ko to sa matatanda, so aaning ko lang. Simple lang eh. Ang musika, hindi pagalingan yan. Pasarapan lang yan. Saka pakisama.
Yeah.
So, simple lang.
As always,
Simple lang. Ito lang.
Yes.
Tawag dito, maraming nagtatanong sa akin, paano ko nakasama tong mga musikerong to? Or sila Harold, sila manggagaling na mabata yan. Hindi dahil sa magaling ako. Magaling ako makisama. Yun. Yun yung secret doon. Hindi pagalingan basta masarap lang. Pasarapan lang yan. Saka pakisamahan. Yun lang. So, chemistry. Yun, mahirap hanapin yun. Hindi natuturo.
Yes. And that's, guys, that's amazing. Those words of wisdom are amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat. More power to you guys. I can't wait for the next live gig. I'm going to be there. I
Yes,
hope
sir.
Ravi.
Jam with us. You have to jam with us.
I would be most honored. to jam
kakanta ka
with you
sa
guys,
amin,
pare.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Game.
Yun.
Game ako dyan. Game ako yan.
Definitely.
Oo.
Tapos sana sumipot si Jaco, tsaka si Michael, tsaka si Ravi.
Nako, tapos na.
I would be scared as fuck. I would piss in my shorts if they would come up in the gig. I would
Kahit ako
definitely.
siguro.
Ako rin. Basta
Yung tipong si
masarap,
Jaco,
pare.
titignan ka.
Basta
pasarapan lang.
masarap. Basta masarap.
Yun na yun.
Basta
Alright.
masarap.
All right. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have. Thank you, Harold. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you, JR. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
JR
thank you.
Oca Experience. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on the show. Stay safe, guys. Maraming
Stay safe,
salamat.
everyone. Buhay ang musikang Pilipino.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Continue to support OP.
Man, that was fun. I love talking to musicians. They're such amazing people. And these guys, I think, have given me the best answers ever. And it's coming from a real place. It's coming from a true place. And if you listen to their music and if you see them live, more importantly, when live gigs come back, we have to support the musicians who have spent years and countless hours perfecting and honing their craft. And sigurado yan, kung nasasarapan sila, lahat tayo masasarapan. So yeah, thank you so much, JR Oca Experience. Okay, before we say goodnight, just a few announcements from Offshore Music. Suspiria Pink's new album, Vices, is on all streaming platforms. This is a release from Offshore Music. It's an amazing album. These are incredible guys. Please check it out, download it, play it on repeat. It's an amazing album. And speaking of albums, a new EP is coming out from Elisa Marie. That's on Friday, July 30. She's coming out with her EP called California Time. And please, guys, stay tuned for the Offshore Music anniversary announcements. We've got a lot planned for you guys, and it's going to be so much fun. Maraming salamat then to Buenos Panaderia and Misty Mountain Cafe. Premium blended coffee with Milo buns and espresso buns, and everything they make in Buenos is amazing. So please do support them. Follow their social media pages. order a box, order a kilo of coffee, and believe me, you will have happiness in your mouth. And thank you so much to our friends from Liquor.PH. Just a few reminders from them. Make your next order a special occasion with a Diageo gifting studio at Liquor.PH. Whenever you purchase a bottle of Johnny Walker, Singleton, Tanqueray, or your favorite Diageo classic malt whiskey, Liquor.PH will send you a wonderful gift bag that you can customize yourself. So make sure to share the gift of great spirits today only from Liquor.PH. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to On the Rocks. I'm Jamie Wilson reminding you to please stay safe, stay strong, stay sane, and don't stop believing. Keep on rocking and keep on rolling. And if all else fails, let the music keep you going. And if you find that life has gotten you shaken up or stirred or mixed up or on the rocks, what matters most is that you take your shot. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and good night. On the Rocks with Jamie Wilson is brought to you by Offshore Music. Go where the sound takes you.